Welcome to episode 143 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast.
Hello.
It's again rotating. A couple things. We don't have Robert.
He may be here though.
He's stuck in traffic. He's coming from a great place, and if he doesn't make it, the story next week will be amazing about where he went. The videos have been 100%.
Great.
And on top of that, there's going to be some noise in the background on this episode.
I may actually text our child that I'll give her $15 if she'll go find it and take it out of the cage.
There's a cricket in our bearded dragon cage in the other room,
and it's now her friend.
Yeah, it's kind of loud.
Jesus, it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, anyways. So enjoy the cricket.
And then I got home late, so if you're
we'll
watching on YouTube, I apologize that I will be eating, but I can guarantee you that you will not hear me eat because I want to stab people in the eyeball when they do that.
I have a coworker. Whenever we have meetings, it sounds like she eats fucking gravel.
Oh no!
It's loud.
She would not be allowed to eat in the same room as me.
And it sounds like gravel.
Nope.
I don't know what she's eating over there, but it's like she has a microphone in her mouth.
Like, for those of you who don't know me well enough to have shared a meal with me, if we're not in a loud restaurant, I will turn music on just so that there's noise around us, so I don't have to hear anyone eat, including myself. It's horrible.
In case anybody is new to this, she's fucking weird.
I am, but I run with it.
See, Anal Side Exotics wants to know what's for dinner.
We have breakfast for dinner.
We have mini pancakes.
Thing
so
ever.
Katie somehow has never heard of a McGriddle.
No.
And she's amazed that you can put sausage between two pancakes and eat it. And she's like, this is amazing. And she thought somebody else invented that. And I'm like, no, that's a McGriddle. But McDonald's been doing that forever.
Sean Gray invented it.
Sean Gray lied. Sean Gray did not invent that. McDonald's invented that. I take that back. Some drunk college kid invented that.
Yeah,
McDonald's
amazing.
just sells it
and makes money off of it.
But yes, see, Anal Side Exotics. It's pancakes. What? That's what their name is.
No, it's not.
What is it supposed to be? It's C for Canada because they're from Canada.
Canal Side Exotics.
There's no canals in Canada. It's C for Canada, and then Anal Side Exotics because
we have mini pancakes, we have sausage patties, and we have eggs.
Yes. Do you want now that you just don't make that motion on the camera?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Anybody watching, enjoy that one. Now that you put food in your mouth, do you want to do the sponsor stuff?
I can.
Yeah, there you go.
If you are looking for a high quality PVC rack, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. They offer a variety of sizes for all types of snakes, geckos, rats, and more. You can even order something custom. Shipping is available, or you can plan to pick up at a Herps Reptile show near you. Visit ellisreptileracks.com to reach out to Lone Star Reptile Racks and place your order today. And there are only 2 shows left this year where you can pick up at a Herp show.
Yes, but for that, see, Anal Side said could have fooled them by the big ass canal next to their house. That's called a ditch. You're in Canada. You don't have canals.
Oh my goodness.
You have ditches and moose. And maple syrup. So that's all you got up there.
All right, James. So what are the 2 Herp shows left this year?
This weekend is the Austin, Texas show, December 3rd and December 4th in Austin, Texas. And then the last show of the year is in Slidell. That's a big show. If you're anywhere near that or can make the trip to Slidell, that's a really good show. December 10th and 11th. And then they kick off the year in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma with the Herp show, January 14th and 15th. Then over to Longview, Texas, January 21st, 22nd. Then my birthday weekend, Conroe, is 28th and 29th of January. And then down to Corpus Christi, February 25th and 26th, which it may be cold. We can have a bonfire on the beach. And then New Orleans, March 4th and 5th. And then over to Bryan College Station, Texas, March 11th and 12th, which our last episode that we just let out was a few of the interviews from the last Bryan College Station show. It was our buddy Corey.
Yep.
And
I remember those now.
Matt from the Fossils. My brain went blank.
Yep.
And then our friends.
Was it the Chameleons?
No, on the last one? I released that one a while back.
So bad when you release stuff that I'm not on, I don't go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I get it.
So I don't know what order you put stuff in. I don't listen to any.
No,
podcast.
But it was the interview with Joe and Brittany, even though we had previously had Joe and Brittany on the podcast.
Right, I remember now.
So everybody got to hear about Joe. But speaking of Joe and Brittany, they are our sponsors for our giveaway this month. If you are listening, we're going to kind of extend it into the first week of December. But our giveaway this month is a $50 gift certificate to their shop, to Repticulture. It's down here near south of Houston. But if you don't live here, that's fine. And if you win, you can still order online. They ship. You can get animals. You can get supplies. It's a full reptile shop. But it's $50 gift certificate. All you have to do is go over to our page, our Facebook, either our group or our Facebook page. It's pinned at the top of both of them. And just tell us what you would spend that $50 gift certificate on. And you're entered. And then in a week, we will pull a winner and you get $50.
I think that's an awesome thing to do right before Christmas.
Yes. And then we have a really great giveaway coming next month in December. Every week in December, we're giving away a temp gun. Our friends over at Colossal Constrictors is donating a infrared temp gun.
Well, that's awesome.
Every week in December.
You mentioned this last week, didn't you? I wasn't here.
I don't know. I think I've mentioned to you in person, not on the air, but you
I
don't
have no
listen.
memory of that at all.
How you ate my eggs.
No,
I
I put
was about
it
to get
over
upset.
there.
Yeah, but we only have one fork.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
You've got to bring our guest in.
I do have to bring our guest in. And then real quick, if you're in South Alabama, Georgia, Florida, that area, check out our friends over at Wiregrass Exotics, another great pet store over there, another great reptile store. They have all your feeder needs and all that stuff. So make sure I get that's everything. I think I got everything. Oh, and check out our shop. Go on Google or Google. No, don't go. I mean, go on Google, I guess. How about
if anybody needs a light bulb or anything like that, they can always go over to VivTech.
I was trying to get mine out first, but
Oh, sorry, just kidding.
yeah, go to VivTech. Save.
What were you doing?
I was trying to tell them to buy our shirts.
I mean, yeah, that too.
So if you want to save 15%, go over to VivTech. It is code Gumbo22, and you can save 15% on your order for bulbs. They've got some amazing new monitors, not lizards, but to be able to monitor your cages, cameras, mounts for the cameras. We're going to get them on soon, and we're going to go through all their new products. They have a ton of new products at VivTech, but that is code Gumbo22 to save you 15% over on VivTech's website. And then go to our Facebook page, shirts, hoodies, yoga pants, because that looked fun to make, so I made those. Yeah, yoga pants. I put a new shirt out.
Do we have Speedos for Darren Watson yet?
We do not have Speedos, and
James.
Just because I'm afraid that if he buys one, he'll take a picture, and no one wants to see that. I did make a new shirt. I put our logo that's on the front of the shirt I'm wearing, our old logo, on the back, and then I put our new logo on the pocket. I gotta get one of those because I like.
Maybe Santa will bring you one for Christmas.
Santa.
It's too close for you to buy stuff for yourself.
I know him.
That's right.
Anyways, let's go ahead and bring our guest in. Oh man, it's been a while. The mouse is all over the place. All right, and there we go. It's Jana King from ASM Royal Tales. That is a mouthful.
It is. I'm sorry.
But how's it going?
It's going well. How are you guys?
Good. I'm gonna get us talking in a second. Then I'm gonna eat my food once I get our shared fork.
So, what does the ASM stand for?
It's the first letter of my three kids' names.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Ariana, Serafina, and Magnolia.
Yeah, that's something that Chris Eaton loves.
Yeah, he totally made fun of me for it. It was great.
Chris Eaton's a huge kid guy. Loves kids.
Loves kids.
Loves
They're
kids.
his favorite.
Loves when you talk about them. You name things after them. You tell them how wonderful kids are. Chris loves that. So anybody listening, feel free to shoot Chris Eaton a message about your kids. Shoot them if you got pictures taking like holiday pictures coming up, go ahead and send those
a Christmas card.
Send those holiday pictures of your kids over to him. He'll love them.
Or those videos. He really likes those.
Loves that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to do with kids. Oh, that almost sounds bad, actually. Anything legal to do with kids, Chris Eaton is a fan of. But
yeah,
I guess
that took a dark turn real quick.
I know. I realized when I said it, and then who I was talking about, I probably should fix that. I mean, because if you've ever seen him, he does kind of give off the creepy uncle vibes.
No,
Don't get me wrong. I trust him around my kid. I've had him around my kid.
Oh man, he's gonna slaughter all of us.
In person,
no, he
just
loves me.
Stop. Well, you're ahead.
Nah, in person, he's a great guy. I let him around my kid all the time.
Hey, we picked him up from the airport.
We did pick him up from the airport. So, but since we're talking about Chris Eaton, let's go ahead and give a plug real quick. So, what do you have going on that involves the fat guy?
The fat man. So right now, Chris Eaton is doing his 15 minutes of lame contest.
Which is bullshit. I got ripped off last year.
Whatever.
Bullshit. How did you get ripped off?
I should have won.
No. We are not going to go there. We are not.
I should have won.
Jana. No.
And Antoine Hood should not have won.
I've only been here for 2 minutes, and we've already offended Chris Eaton and opened a can of worms.
Antoine, I'm gonna need you to come whoop his ass.
Did Antoine? I don't even remember Antoine Hood. I don't think he won. Did he win last year?
Yes, he's
the
winner.
That's right. Fuck
last
him.
year.
Because there were issues with like cheating.
Yes.
Like ugh.
Yes, and I guarantee all of my votes got thrown away. I was supposed to win. I probably wasn't going to win. I fucking hate ball pythons and I shit on them every week. There's no way.
So what
I
you're
was-
saying is you would like a recount.
I would like a recount without Antoine's votes involved. There's no way he won.
So what you're saying is it was a close second.
Oh my gosh.
No, I won in a landslide, but somehow there were some hanging chads and some uncounted votes.
Ever.
And Antoine
enough.
Hood is a huge cheater, and I'll
Come
say
on,
that
Antoine.
to his face on the
I'll,
computer, not
I'll
in
feed
person.
you and you can come whoop his ass for me.
Fuck you, Antoine. But Anal Side says that Chris reminds him of Ron Jeremy without the prison time. I think without the going to jail thing, and probably without the huge penis.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm just guessing.
Well,
I'm just
I'm
guessing.
not allowed to comment on that. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say without the huge penis.
Oh my
Although that may be the one thing he's got going for him.
Why are we talking about this?
I'm not sure we're allowed
See,
to,
Anal
but
Side
if
brought up
we're gonna bring it up, it's as good as he says.
See, Anal Side brought up his penis.
I don't need to know any of this at
Oh,
all about Chris
okay.
Eaton.
Sorry, we can
Well,
move
now
on to
you
the
know.
contest. Now you know.
Now you know, and
Now you know the reputation is earned.
now you
Anyway,
know the
moving
rest of the
on.
story.
God
Very,
almighty.
very far moving on.
So, anyways, on to hopefully there will be no cheating this year, but you are
Yeah.
competing for the full episode
Correct.
from the 15 minutes of lame that I should have gotten last year.
What haven't you done an episode with him?
I was just
That
gonna
was
say,
that
don't
was
you have to call him up and be like, "Yo, can I have a full episode?"
No,
And
I'm
he's
pretty
like,
didn't you
"Sure."
do
no,
a
that
full
was my
episode?
15 minutes of lame.
Oh.
I mean, he's been on this one,
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
and then and then I went on there 15 minutes of lame and didn't talk about a single ball python.
Oh my god.
So that's probably why I didn't get any votes. Darren
If
wants
he
us
had
to
a reptile gumbo speedo, we would know.
oh
Oh.
God.
Wow, you guys, he's
You-
never going to speak to me again after
Yeah.
this. Just so
Darren,
you
there's
know.
another reason we're not getting
Darren
speedos made.
Watson wants a reptile gumbo.
No, he
speedo.
wants Chris Eaton to wear the
He wants
reptile gumbo
Chris-
speedo.
I thought
Chris Eaton
Darren
to
was
wear.
gonna wear the.
He is, but he's saying that if Chris Eaton was wearing a reptile gumbo speedo, we would know about his penis.
Oh, okay. I totally am following now. I apologize.
You're following Chris Eaton's penis? Is there like a
No.
Twitter page for that?
I
or-
think that if you just tell him you've given consent and ask nicely, he might just send it to you. I mean, it's,
Oh my god.
Nah, I'm good. I don't. At
I
that
mean,
point,
he's very into consent, so you must state that you're giving your consent. But I think
No.
he might.
That's hilarious.
So Darren, if it really, really matters to you, just
There you go,
slide
Darren.
into his DMs.
Ask Chris for a picture of his penis. Go for it, Darren.
Oh my
Have
god.
at it.
This took a turn.
Anyways, so when is the voting has started, right? Let's
Oh,
get
he
back to-
isn't. He's in the comments.
Oh, there he is.
Shit.
I
What's up,
just
Chris?
sent him a message.
We're gonna be so in the doghouse. It's not
Oh,
even
I'm-
funny.
I'm not in the
Oh.
doghouse. So I don't care at all.
I sound like cornbread when I talk. It's okay. it's I sent him a message one time. It was a meme, and it was like, "No, you don't sound like you're from the South. You just sound like cornbread when you talk."
All of this Chris Eaton penis conversation has gotten in the way of me eating my food. So, which are
Okay,
things
well-
I never thought I'd say.
If you're in the chat and the live still, if you've made it through all of that, make sure that you give Reptile Gumbo a subscribe if you haven't already. If you're commenting,
It's not always about penises, I promise.
It's not always about penises. We'll just keep moving forward. If you're in the chat commenting, hit the like button. Come on, guys.
Oh
Let's
my
help them out
gosh.
there. Yeah, so I'm in the 15 minutes of lame. There's 22 of us, and it's a little bit different this year because of how badly you got cheated last year. He wanted to make that up to you, so
Bullshit.
he's made the contest longer. There is a voting, but it's a third party voting, so like none of us could like hire bots or something to mess with the count.
That was a big issue last year. Like, what's wrong with people? Like, just be a decent human.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that Chris has a lot of ball python people on, so decent human is not really in their vocabulary. But
Oh my goodness.
oh look, Lizard Morph is on there now. He's talking about Chris Eaton's penis. See, now it's gone international.
Oh my gosh. Cool. did not expect this to come up, so I'm gonna just blame you guys for that.
I blame James for everything. It's totally fine.
I think the percentage that old C Anal side put up there, 10% genitalia, 40% food, 50% reptiles, is probably about what our podcast is.
I 100% can do that because 9.5 times out of 10.
9.5 inches out of 10?
No.
Oh.
You have this weird obsession with animal penises.
They're very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just did an episode on slippery dick fish. So you should really look that up and make that one of your next episodes because it's good stuff.
Well, I mean, the old corkscrew duck penis is a very interesting penis.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we have an episode on that too.
That's
there you go, James.
And the fact that a lot of people
I feel like you might be kindred spirits with my co-host Jessica.
Well, and a lot of people around here will wear raccoon
penises on like necklaces. I'm like,
what?
No.
There's a bone inside a raccoon penis, and so they'll take the bone and it used to be used as a toothpick, but yeah, they'll make necklaces out of it. I'm not making this shit up. This one's real, I promise.
That is not happening in Seattle. I would just like everybody to know.
They'll wear it on a necklace.
That's interesting. That's an interesting life choice. Yeah, so there's voting happening every day. You can vote for multiple different people, but you just have to wait 24 hours to vote for a different person. And then there are 3 judges this year, which they haven't had in the past. So the 2 winners from the previous year, Antoine, I'm sorry, the cheater.
Fuck Antoine.
And then Shane Kelly. And then I think just to like completely have himself out of the contest, Donato, a good friend of Chrissy's, is going to be the 3rd judge. Nice. So in order to win, you have to,
so you have to bribe them.
I'm really not sure what you need to win. And everybody seems to think because it's a week and a half in and I have 23% of the vote that I've like won already.
Cheater.
And I'm like, and I'm a cheater. It's all those blowjobs in the back.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
Are there write-in votes? Can we do write-in votes? Everybody's going to vote for me.
Oh my gosh!
I should have won last year.
I think the write-in votes were canceled because of all the hanging chads that screwed you last year. So
yes,
fucking chads.
Fucking chads. So I mean, there's still like a lot of contests left, and there's the judges, and it's all a little ambiguous as to how that could go because the judges could each pick a different person, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the majority popular vote. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And I think that right now it's not an accurate judge of who is going to win. It's just where we're at right now.
That's really cool.
Where's that at? I need to find the list. Is it on?
It's on snakesandthefatman.com. And there's
his old ass having a website. I knew he'd have a website.
And there's a link on his homepage that says 15 minutes, vote now.
There's no way he actually does the editing on his website. There's just no way.
Really? He designs websites. He's like really good at that.
Yeah, I just don't see him doing it for his.
Why not?
Because it's Chris.
Oh my god.
All right, let's see who we can vote. We got
so these are people you're not going to vote for.
Yeah, don't vote for these people.
Everybody's voting for Jana.
Oh, I feel bad to not vote for them because don't vote for them, even though some of them are people I like.
No, you see, what you can do is you can vote for different people on different days.
Well,
so just vote for me 2 days of the week and then vote for somebody else every other day of the week.
I do love your thought process behind that. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I don't know Andrew Lyons of Redwood Reptiles, so don't vote for him. I don't know him.
Oh, he's not in the contest anyway. Nah.
Fuck off. I know Nathan Katz. Nathan Katz is a cool guy, but he's he teaches people how to become a barber and he has no hair. So it's just I don't trust a barber with no hair. It's very weird.
Why?
Because he's got no hair.
They don't practice on themselves.
I don't care, but it just seems weird.
No.
Anyways, our buddy Victor's up for that. There's Victor.
Oh.
I'm surprised he's not in the chat. I love Victor. I don't know Casey Parker, so she's out. Patrick Chung, don't know him. You're gone. Shamir Bernard, nope, don't know you. Breed, nope, don't. Nope. A lot of people I don't know. Nope. No. Oh, all right. I need people. So like when you watch the commercial with the sad Sarah McLachlan music.
Do not be an asshole.
And it's like the puppies.
Don't.
And those poor puppies don't have homes.
Don't do it, James.
And they look so sad.
Why are you such a jerk?
That's Caleb Howe.
James.
So if anybody should feel sorry, go look at Caleb. And just that face alone should make you want to give him a vote or two.
You're
oh my gosh. Did you guys watch
horrible.
the debate on Chris Eaton's channel?
No.
So he has like making fun of kind of like politics. He has like a little debate of the first half of the contestants, and then the second half is going to happen next week. And Caleb was in that debate, and he's like, I should win because I'm the youngest contestant. And then Chris was like, well, you've been in the hobby the longest as well. maybe we should go with that, because he's been in it since he was a little kid. And it was just it was brutal.
I may have snapped a picture of him and his girlfriend and sent it to Chris Eaton during the Pearland show.
Oh, you're outing yourself?
Really?
Oh, I don't care. I'm not afraid of that.
Oh, okay. Because
we
heard rumors of these pictures, but they
it was definitely me.
You. Okay.
I was sitting there while he was talking to us and snapped a picture because I knew Chris Eaton would enjoy that one. So, but still, everyone feel sorry for him. I know he looks 12, and somehow his driver's license doesn't say he is. He is apparently an adult. Well, age-wise.
Yeah. So we were talking, and I was like, "Be quiet, Caleb. The adults are talking." And he's like, "I'm an adult," and I was like, "Well, 18 doesn't really count, honey. Try again." I was like, "Maybe legal drinking age." He's 23.
He's 23.
Yeah.
No, he's
23. Holy crap! I did not.
I mean, he does live at home with his parents, and he is Caleb. But people go give him some pity votes.
Yeah,
he needs them. He needs.
Yeah, don't vote
votes.
for Jana. Go vote for Caleb. I mean, he's a really sweet guy.
I honestly want to make Chris Eaton have to sit through an entire episode talking to Caleb. I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't be able to watch it, but it would be pretty funny to see how mad Chris got.
I'm not gonna. I know we're on here to like promote Jana, and that's great. But could you imagine if Chris Eaton had to spend at least an hour talking to Caleb?
You are on a tear tonight, sir.
That would be the most entertaining podcast ever made.
Chris Eaton is gonna like.
Also on this list is Megyn Kelly from Megaconda, and if you remember, with Megyn Kelly, that's the one that Chris had never heard of her somehow and thought that she belonged on 15 Minutes of Lame, even though she's been breeding anacondas for fucking forever.
Yeah. Do you know who I am, sir?
Yeah, that's a weird one to have on 15 Minutes of Lame, but so don't vote for her. She's fine.
Well, I don't think she's participating really in the contest. I haven't seen her promoting it or anything.
And then there's Jana, and then there's a bunch of other people I don't know. So give Caleb some pity votes. He needs them. Trust me, if you just go look at his picture.
James Lewis.
It's okay. It's okay. I can handle it. You go vote for Caleb. I'll vote for Caleb today, guys. Join me. And we
People are
gonna
feel
vote.
so bad for me picking on Caleb, but they have no idea that he fucking loves it.
He does. He loves it a lot. He's a masochist.
He's a what? Whoa. He does.
Oh, sorry. We're talking about penises. Is this a family-friendly podcast?
No. This is not a family-friendly podcast.
Oh, good.
But yes, go over and vote for it. It is sponsored by Canova. So
it is sponsored by Canova.
I was surprised you didn't get him as one of the judges, but I guess he already sponsored it. He said, "Fuck it, I've given Chris enough. I'm not going to give him more of my time."
I don't know, Chris. Comment below. Why is Canova not a judge?
Justin realized, look, I'm giving you my name. You can use that. Don't bother me anymore.
Oh my goodness.
So go vote for that. All right, I want to get to our question this week because we had some pretty good ones.
We had some great responses with that too.
We did. And the question came from Jana. It was, how has the industry's recession trend changed your 2023 season business/hobby plans? Which we've all kind of been hit by this recession. If you haven't, I don't know how that's possible, but we'll go through these and then we'll talk about kind of ours and talk about yours and what's going on. But our buddy Robert, who I guess is not going to make it, and I feel horrible for him, he did respond. I'll go ahead and read his. Says he will probably only pair a few ball pythons. When I say he really means his wife and his son will probably only pair a few ball pythons that we want holdbacks from, and most of the colubrids. As far as the Lone Star Reptile racks, they're down to about 35% revenue from this time last year when everybody had all that money. And it's very hard to keep the doors open on the business that relies on the reptile industry right now, because not a lot of people are building. Like, a lot of people are getting out because they don't have money. And so they're selling a lot of their racks and cages. So it's hard for racks and cage people because all the used racks and cages are flooding the market. So there's not much you could do about it. It sucks. Our buddy Alana, who moved up north to be a Yankee, fucking Yankees. So said it's definitely be very hard. She agrees with Robert on the pairing of holdbacks, and definitely time to buckle down and wait. Our friend Megan I'm not even going to make fun of her last name. I'm going to leave it there. Our friend Megan. I've put off bringing home more animals for the most part. I don't.
Wait a minute. Should I check for a temperature?
Nah,
You
don't worry.
didn't make fun of her name.
I
feel
will.
like I should
I can
check
still
on
do
your
it.
sanity.
Well, she
I
said
was
she
just
put.
gonna say, what did you put in his dinner?
I don't know.
Still.
And I ate first. Like, that's the crazy thing.
You could read some of these and then I could eat.
Do you
now.
want? Okay.
That would be awesome. I'll read Megan. Do you want to read Megan's?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Hold up.
She said, I put off bringing home more animals for the most part. Anything I've recently acquired has either been gifted to me or was very inexpensive. I don't think all those decisions to not bring animals home are the recession.
No, I think that's her trying to not make her husband.
Yeah, I don't think that's the recession. I think that's marriage. As much as I'd love to add certain species to my crew, more animals isn't a necessity. Thankfully, I have my larger snakes already upgraded into higher and or PVC. I think there's a typo there. So I will just have to wait on additional upgrades for now. My goal is to maintain the quality of life for my current animals, mammals included. Gross. Unfortunately, I've had to become a mostly looker at reptile shows. That's everybody's become a looker at reptile shows. It's not just Megan. Where's
this posted?
It's on our Facebook page.
Not on the discussion group.
Was on both.
Oh, okay. I was on the wrong page. I was like, there's only one comment here. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's Travis's.
Yeah.
But the other one is on.
Yeah, I got you. I'm on the right page.
Good job. Way to join the podcast.
Jeez.
You want to read Drew's and then I can eat some pancakes?
And then you can eat. Where is there? It is.
It's
I'm getting there. I'm getting
What are you
there. I'm
doing?
almost there.
the internet's tricky for Katie. Everybody. Computers are hard.
I'm gonna stab you in the face.
Well, please do. That would be exciting.
We only have one fork and I'm using it. So
No, you are contemplating using it. You have
You
still yet
haven't
to
gotten
eat your
to use
dinner.
it yet.
True, it's sitting here. These pancakes just soaking up syrup. They're going to be amazing because even though
Whoa.
Katie doesn't like syrup, fucking weirdo.
I small doses. I'm okay.
No, you need to
I
drown that
don't
shit.
want it to touch me at all.
What the fuck are you doing with the syrup?
I don't like when it gets
What?
on your hands.
What the fuck? How are you eating shit? And just, what are you doing?
Even when you close the lid on the container, it gets on your hands.
How bad are you at dealing with syrup?
I hate syrup. Anyways, Drew Schultz says that they've been doing more public events at the zoo that cost $7 to $8 per person. So rather than relying on just one person to do a private event for a large sum of money, this seems to be working for them so far. This time of the year is usually the slow season anyway. So there's been a lot of non-essential improvements that have been put back on the back burner. It's been okay. But they're hoping next spring and summer will pick up. Our friend Amanda Reddy said that they're widening their feeder roaches, branching into more specifics that are prolific. They get 18,000 crickets every other week. And she said that's just rough in general.
It's a lot of crickets.
That's a lot.
That's a lot more noise than the one lone cricket that we have in the background here. She said she does plan to be more feeder stained by next baby season. They also try to keep an eye on produce sales each week, and they try to make smart purchases for gut loading reasons. Side note, Lee hates green banana roaches.
Yeah, they're gross.
So she had to make some wall decor when they arrived. I kind of want to know. It's all good until the roach starts fucking flying.
Yeah, is that a cross?
That looks like a catchy pad almost that the cockroach is stuck to.
No, it's like a cross stitch.
Oh, cross stitch.
Oh, that is pretty. That's some awesome detail too.
It's like neon cross stitch.
Yeah. Paul Byfield says, well, I haven't started pairing yet. So there's that. So how about you read Danielle?
I did not read Danielle.
You went from Megan to Drew. You skipped Danielle.
No, on mine, Drew is next.
Oh, Megan, she's right after Megan on mine. So Danielle Cruz said, no more animals except in really extraordinary circumstances. She'll upgrade babies as needed, but she grows in tubs anyway, so it's not a huge issue. She is also now growing her own feeders for the insect eaters, and she has a garden for her herbivores. So it's a little garden, but it does have their staples that they need. This time of the year is really great for growing like lettuces and things like that, because those are all grown in the winter.
That is wild. You could not grow anything in Seattle right now.
Okay, well, that is also, I forgot you're in Seattle. Yeah, it's also true. Not there.
You're like, it's great for lettuce this time of year. And I'm like, what?
It was 80 degrees.
I accidentally muted you. I was trying to turn myself off.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it was 80 degrees today
Yep.
in Texas.
Wow. It was
And
snowing
it's-
today in
and
Seattle.
The low tonight is 42. So we're dropping from a high of 80 with ridiculous amounts of humidity down.
It was
to
fucking
42
miserable
tonight.
outside
It was
today.
horrible at recess today. Absolutely horrible. Mute your microphone right now.
Can you hear me eating?
Yes.
Is it bothering you?
I will get up and leave. You are not funny. It's like one of the few things I cannot handle. Let's see. Thankfully, she's still growing out.
Amanda said it was hand embroidery.
Oh, that's awesome. That is a lost art. So Danielle is growing out breeders. I do find it interesting though, because she said that there's no more animals except under really extraordinary circumstances. And her very good friend, Megan, who's also our very good friend, said there must be some damn miracles happening in her house lately. Because I also know for a fact she's had quite a few critters coming home with her, a few of different snakes. She's still waiting on one animal to come home, but she said then there's going to be like a ban on animals that are allowed to come through the door unless it's like an inheritance thing. So, because apparently she's on a list for an indigo, because those have to be given to you, I think, or I don't know what that rule is.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Because she's talking about Texas indigos, I think.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, she said except in case of inheritance, in which case it's indigo time. So
I don't know the rule. Robert would know it.
yeah.
I know Easterns, you have to have like a permit and all.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know any of that. Sorry.
All right. So Jana,
Sorry.
Jana, how is it affecting you?
Well, I mean, it is making me think about my parents, but also I've had a lot of life changes, and right now I'm going to school full time to get my nursing degree, and so that is a big shift for me. I was doing ball pythons full time, and so this year I had 23 clutches, and that's not sustainable when you're going to school full time and you're a single mom to 3. So whether it was a recession or not, I was planning to pare down anyway, but I'm really looking at, like you had said, what do I want to make to hold back for myself? So I won't be doing any pairings just to pair what I have. I am only going to be doing pairings that fit my projects and move my projects forward.
I just need to pause you for 1 second because Will's Hella Heat said he's here to support you because ball shit starts an hour later. You know what? You could just totally ignore the ball shit podcast. That's definitely a thing out there you can do.
Will, I'm so glad you decided to make that comment.
And just listen to ours. And I mean, it's just gonna be Sean talking for 2 hours.
Okay, you interrupted Jana. Pause your microphone. I was listening.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go.
So I have pared down quite a bit of breeder females that were lower end because I was waiting for my higher end stuff to grow up. So I had a lot of stuff in that wasn't necessarily towards my goals.
So when you say pared down for someone who married into the hobby, what specifically does that mean?
Oh, I just mean that I sold some of my breeder females. That didn't fit my projects.
Oh, okay.
So I had like 80 breeder females, and now I have like 45.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So like a lot.
Okay.
And then I have some stuff growing up. But I don't know if I'll breed all 80 of what I have left. Because right towards the end of trying to sell those girls, the market just went. And
Gotcha.
so it's like literally not even worth it to list some of them. So I may just keep them around and feed them and wait till like spring or whatever, and then sell off those girls that I don't plan on breeding.
So this is not meant to be offensive at all.
Which means it will be.
No, it probably will come across that way because I don't know.
Oh, girl, just spit it out. We're good.
How to ask the question. So is it not, because I don't know what you have other than ball pythons. So like, I don't know if you have like higher end stuff. I don't know if you have lower end stuff. That is 100% just because I'm married into the hobby. I'm here for like the normal person's point of view.
Ain't shit normal about you.
So I can be normal, sort of. Maybe. Anyways, could you wholesale some of your stuff, or do you have stuff that is like you don't wholesale?
Well, she's talking about adults though. She doesn't want to wholesale adults.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like babies.
No. I'm talking about adults.
Oh, never mind. Just kidding.
Babies. I do a lot of shows, and our show circuit is a lot different than in the South. Like our show
Right.
circuit is still doing really well. And there's like 6 within 3 hours of me a year. And so they get really well attended. There's usually like 5,000 people that come through the door.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're doing really well because the reptile hobby up here is still relatively new and untapped.
Gotcha.
So I take all my babies to shows
Oh,
that
that
are
makes sense. Absolutely.
under 500, and then everything like over 500 I'll put up on Morph Market. But I am into the G-Stripe Clown and the Clown Pied projects.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna Google the G-stripe part because I don't know what that is. But the rest of it I understood. I've been paying attention to our ball python people.
I've also trying to diversify a little bit. So I have a trio. That's what this is. This is a bioactive for red-sided garters.
Oh, cool.
So I have a trio growing up. They're about a year and a half, and I'm not brewmating them. So they may breed like in the summertime, like in 6 months. But if they don't, it's like no big deal. And then I have a friend that's offering me a hognose pair that I'm still on the fence about. And then I have a king snake trio that I tried to breed this year and totally failed at. But I'm going to try it again. They're brewmating right now. But just
What
a little
kind of
bit of
king snake?
diversity. They're just the California king snakes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hog noses smell horrible.
Well, thanks for the heads up on that. I've heard the
Yeah.
babies are really hard to get started too.
That on top of their shit is so bad. And any hognose person telling you they're not are lying.
Is it just like because of what they eat, or is it just like a?
That's the way the digestive
It's
system
just
works. I mean, they're
the-
colubrids, so most colubrid shit
I
smells
was gonna
bad.
say, yeah, our corn
But hog
snakes don't
noses are-
smell the greatest. I mean,
Hognoses
Yeah.
are rough.
All of the colubrids are a lot different to take care of than ball
Yeah.
pythons are so easy, and colubrids are
See, what's-
much more hands-on.
And see, what's funny about that is ball pythons are easy now. Like if you were to go back 30 years, ball pythons are not easy. Like they're dying all
we
the
didn't
damn
know
time.
as much. Yeah.
Well, it's just they were imported, they were cheap, and a lot of them didn't eat, and a lot of them would go on like hunger strikes and then just starve to death. And they're super easy now. So you can fucking put them in a shoebox and they'll breed. And I mean, it's,
Yeah.
It's funny.
they're insanely easy now.
This
Now they're very
G-stripe
hardy.
Looks cool.
It's
Yeah, look
striped.
up the clown G-stripe. It's called the Kiki Project, but I don't like to call it that.
Kiki. Someone smoking. Kiki.
Thank you, James.
Yeah.
What movie was that?
That was it's
America's Sweethearts. Is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen
Julia-
that movie
Julia
with Julia
Roberts.
Roberts?
and what's
I
her name?
like her, but I don't think I've seen it.
It's her dad's
She was in
famous.
Chicago. It's not Angelina Jolie.
It's not Angelina Jolie. You're right. It's no. Fuck me. My brain just went blank. Start with a Z?
Is it Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yeah, it's saying there's a C in there.
Okay. Anyways, there's a scene in the film where the one who's famous is complaining about someone in the general area smoking. Her sister's name is Kiki, who is also her manager. So she's like, Kiki, someone's smoking. So anytime we're in public anywhere and someone is smoking, this one over here has to go, Kiki. I'm like,
Yeah,
really?
the person who first hit the G-stripe clown, that's his daughter's nickname. And so he called the project the Kiki Project after his daughter. And so like not very many people like calling it that, but we're all like trying to be really respectful because it's after his daughter. So
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll be
though.
disrespectful. Another reason I fucking hate ball pythons.
You can name them whatever you want.
Just fucking
Yeah.
name it what it is. Then I know what it is. And I don't have
Yeah.
to try and figure out what it is off of 15 different people giving it 15 different nicknames.
These are kind of cool. Well, I like the zebra thing that just popped up.
What? Let me just click it on.
I'm looking at ball pythons now.
How would you stop doing that?
so
They're pretty.
are you
Gross.
guys mostly colubrids?
No, I do boas.
Boas. Okay.
I like colubrids. So I have a corn snake in my classroom, and then I got a Mexican black king snake finally about a year ago. What?
What's this you have?
I have. You take care of them. You do.
Yeah, that makes it mine.
You do a great job taking care of it, babe.
You don't even know what it eats.
Which one?
Exactly.
I can assume what they eat, but I just tell you I need to feed them, or the one in the classroom at least, and you just give it to me in a Ziploc bag wrapped in a paper towel. You are an enabler.
Oh, I'll stop. Now that I know, I'm done. No, I got mostly sand boas and boa constrictors and some rainbow boas and rosy boas, 4-ball python.
Do you have a Brazilian or Colombian?
Brazilian.
Brazilian all the way. Okay, good.
Yeah, I've got a female. My male died. That was it now 2 years ago. And he was 18, I think, 17, 18.
He was the snake that started it all in the collection.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That sucks.
That was a rough one.
Well, what's been rough since was I have 6 babies left from the litter, and I was holding back 3, and all of them. And I've asked several people. If anybody listening knows what the fuck it is, feel free to tell me. But all 6 of them turned gray, like in deep shed, and then began to look like shit.
Interesting.
At the same time. And no idea. No other snake in my collection. The adult female doesn't look. They all turned gray. They looked horrible. They're now, after, I don't know, 6 months, now starting to shed, and they still kind of look like shit, but they're shedding now. But the entire time they've been eating.
Bathroom is all normal. Everybody's growing.
The only
reached out to several.
The only one that died was one that I tried to remove the skin because I thought it was shedding. So I used like some shed-ease stuff to try and help. I thought it needed to shed. It did not. And that led to eventually it dying. So yeah, it's been a pain in the ass.
It was rough. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're wanting to keep back a male, it's hard to do that if they're sickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. Was I needed to keep back. I was keeping back 1.2 because they were because it was my male died and I needed some of his babies. And then I'm like, fuck. Now they all look like shit, and I don't know if they're gonna make it. And they're doing pretty good now. They just look like shit, and I can't figure it out. Nothing else in the collection looks that way. But
yeah, I've never heard that. Are there groups for like rainbow boas
I've
and
asked.
stuff?
I've asked some like pretty well-known rainbow breeders, and no one has a clue what it is. I'm like, well, good. That makes
you feel better that you're not
feel better. Yes, I was gonna say it did make us feel better that we didn't do something horribly wrong. But at the same time, it was very frustrating because
to not have answers.
Here are these people who've been doing it for years and are very well known in that specific field, and they
don't know
nothing.
Well, like the surprising thing is that my male made it to adulthood because he was my first snake, and they are the worst fucking first snake. If you've never anybody out there thinking about getting a first snake, don't let it be a rainbow boa.
They tell you that is not a starter snake.
Nope, they didn't tell me that when I bought it. And they sold it to me. But I mean, that thing made it through so much horrible keeping and did great. Lived 18 years. But yeah, it was rough.
That's my daughter's dream snake. And so she's kept a ball python alive, and she just got a baby hognose, and she's keeping that alive. So we're working on it, but I'm like, that is not a beginner snake for a 10-year-old.
I love that you're working her up to it there. That's so awesome.
They're tricky as babies. They're super sensitive as babies.
Yeah, if their humidity isn't just right, then they're dead.
Yeah, it's they will dry out. Like with ball pythons, you'll know every now and then a water bowl will go dry, and you go, oh shit, it went dry. The ball python's fine.
Totally fine. Yeah. They didn't even notice.
No. If your rainbow boa's water bowl goes dry, you've got like the rest of that day to get water in there, and then it could die. Within a day or so, it could die.
That. Yeah.
But the adults are pretty bulletproof. I mean, you look at like a lot of the adult, because they're still imported, so you get adult imports come in. Those things are really good. But the babies, once you get them out of the baby phase, they're fine. So, but I love Brazilians. They're way prettier than Colombians.
Oh yeah, they're gorgeous. They're so pretty. I actually like the white-lipped pythons that shimmer like that too, but I've heard they are jerks.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, they have a history of being rough. The great thing about boas, though, she's got a little kid.
Oh my gosh! If this was Chris Eaton,
where's Chris?
Me off.
Is Chris still watching? Chris, there's a kid on the screen.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Can you say hi? This is Magnolia. This is the M in ASM. And she hasn't been feeling good. That's why she's out here. Can you go sit on the couch and wait for mommy to be done with her podcast? Yeah.
Hey, how old is she?
She's 4.
Oh.
Okay, go. You're going to stay here. That's lovely. Now, I need you to go on the couch for me, please. Say, yes, ma'am.
I love it.
Yes, ma'am. Good job.
So my niece has almost those exact same headphones.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all well and good until you're driving around at night and she's in the back of your car.
And you think it's a cop.
Yes, because hers are blue. And I'm like, every time I would look in my rear view mirror, I was like, fuck, my brother, I'm going to get pulled over with my brother's kids in the car, and I'm never going to hear to the end of it, because those two would have told the whole damn family that Aunt Katie got pulled over. Like,
I would have told them.
It was terrifying. I hated those headphones in that moment of our trip.
My oldest has a pair that's like they're white and then it does like the red. And so I kept like, what's going on back there? And it was like freaking me out. And then I realized what was happening. And we were like driving home from a 1-day reptile show. My 10-year-old goes with me and has her own little business. But so we drove down 3 hours and like 4 in the morning, and then it's like 10 at night and we're driving back. So we've been awake for way too long. And I keep seeing, I'm like, I'm hallucinating cops. I mean, like,
I did.
Totally bizarre.
I'm really glad I'm not the only one who's ever done that though, because I think hers are black and so the lights are blue and it's different shades of blue. And yeah, I totally thought there were cops like following me home the whole time.
Yeah.
But
I did not fall asleep driving on the way home because the computer was like,
the lights.
Yes, woo! And I'm just like, you've got to turn.
Because then
off.
you start hearing the sirens like in your head or like in the songs on the radio.
No, you're just crazy. So there was one more comment we didn't get to because I had posted on the other one, so I wanted to get the other comment out.
Oh yeah.
So and then our buddy Travis Wyman said no changes for him. He only plans on doing 1 or 2 pairings this season, so not really a stress for him in terms of keeping a surplus. Also have an easy outlet for wholesale if he needs to get rid of some, but he's got a lot of non-ball python stuff too. So
I'm curious, and this is something that I should probably just pay better attention to. I'm curious as far as the differences go. Like, Jana, you do this for a living, right? Or is this more of a hobby for you?
Well, before I got a divorce in March, it was like my full-time thing.
Gotcha.
But it was not paying any bills. Like, it was just all trying to build it, like everybody who's doing ball pythons, it's a growing year, that bullshit. But since getting a divorce, it's kind of hi. This is Serafina. Do you want to wave hi?
Hi.
I don't see you yelling at her kid
because she's a child, and I'm tuning it out. It is okay. You are a
and
grown
you're
adult,
chewing
and you know
into
better.
the microphone.
I'm
Okay.
gonna find something else to
Oh,
do.
you're fired. Okay, I love you. Go play.
No, I was about to lose it over here, laughing my ass off because I could just see. Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
it's fine. She's child. She gets away with it.
So. Now that I'm going to school full time and I'm a single mom and I'm trying to like make everything work, it's actually paying for college for me right now.
Because I'm curious. We've had a lot of really great conversations and we've had a lot of really great comments, but I'm wondering which of those comments are people that are doing this for a full-time living and which of these comments are people in the hobby? Like, how does that differentiate?
Of all those people that commented.
Well, I know that Justin has released statements or videos, even though they're to Patreon, like he put clips out saying that we all need to be more intentional about our pairings.
Correct.
And he, I mean, obviously that's his career. So is he going to do that, or is he just going to be wholesaling more? Like, I don't know what his actual plans are, but I think for those people who aren't reliant on it as money, it's easy to say, oh, I'm only going to do a few pairings this year, and then we'll see how the market is next year.
Exactly.
Because you want to create supply and demand. But if it's your income, like those people don't really have that luxury. And so
or that choice. This is
that
choice. I really wish Robert was here tonight.
I would imagine Justin, it's different than the way it affects it. The way he breathes. So like if you were to compare him to someone like Will Banks, right? Will Banks breeds a fuck ton of ball pythons every year.
Yes,
but Will Banks is supplying pet stores, like large scale pet stores.
He's like a humongous wholesaler.
Yeah. So he's producing, he's going to sell his. And then Justin, I think, is the other end of the upper side of that, where he is not producing a ton of wholesale quality animals. He's producing stuff that is higher rated and it's going to sell. Plus, once you put Kabilka on the tag, it kind of sells.
The recession, I don't think, is affecting him.
if it's affecting him, like, it's not affecting him in the way that it's affecting, like, say, you,
the little guy, right? I've just been really fortunate because our market is a little bit more stable. Like, it's obviously going down, like everybody else is. But most people are going to shows and not even able to pay for their table with what they're making. And that's not how it is up here. And so like, it's sustaining for now, but if I need to, I have the ability to go and get a job, but I just prefer to be around for my kids more. So if I have to do some pairings so that I can keep the lights on, but also advance my projects. But I think a lot of us are making sure that we have our ducks in a row and backup plans. Right. So the people who are doing it full time, they may be considering not doing it full time for the next few years, because that tends to be the trend, is that it, you know, up and down, and the inflation over the last few years is kind of a false inflation because of COVID. So
that makes sense.
The people that I've spoken to about the trends in the industry, you know, this happens and then it, you know, it writes itself. And there was so many people that got into, just a second, I gotta yell at my kids. Hey, girls, please go to your room.
I'm trying to get her.
Okay, you go to your room.
She is trying.
You
I
listen.
can hear her.
I know. You listen listen. You get your body into your room, and I'll talk to your sister. Oh, and we're gonna kick the camera too. Magnolia. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna turn off my.
Go ahead.
See, this is why we had one.
Oh goodness! So I was looking at the comments though, and so like Robert, we know Robert does this as a business.
Yes,
like,
on the rack
Megan,
side, which is different than having to breed the animal side is not a
Different than
business
the
side right
goods.
now, right?
Gotcha.
So he's doing the dry goods, but again, he's being affected by it because people are not buying new stuff right now, which is a big issue.
Right. So they don't need the cages and the racks.
Yeah, like because we've seen a lot of like his stuff that has been sold pop back up. You know, when someone bought a rack and then they bought 6 ball pythons and they were going to do it as a business and they realized that shit's not going to happen right now. And so you're seeing people sell entire collections and then that rack, and so it makes it very hard for him to go out and then sell a new rack when someone can just buy a used one.
That makes sense.
So that's hit him more.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just like a lot of people jumped in during. Are you guys laughing at me?
No, we're laughing at the
laughing at the comments.
We're laughing at lizard morphs in the comments. He said, "Well, isn't this fun?"
He said you should have popped them in their cages prior to the podcast.
Sorry, it's only like 5 here, guys. Single woman show.
I know.
It happens.
You still have daylight. It's fabulous.
Yes. So so many people got in because they were bored or they had lost their job during COVID, and this is something you can do from home. So that's like, it caused all these people to get into the hobby, and then there was all this, you know, the government was handing out money like madhouses, and so then people were putting it into this hobby. And now that there's a little bit of a recession, people are like, oh, we got sold a can of lies. This market and industry isn't stable. And so they're all trying to get out, because what happened is now all of those people who bought in, you know, 2 or 3 years ago have breeders that are old enough, and they all produced way too many babies.
Well, and we talked about this before on the show. This whole thing, and we've known it for 2 decades now, is a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
The problem is the pyramid scheme is now starting to finally crumble because there's so many that got into it thinking they're going to make a ton of money. And a lot of them are not breeding quality, right? They went and saw Justin Gobilka's table and saw him breeding something that had clown in it and whatever. They don't care what the rest of us. And they went, that thing's selling for $5,000. And they went out and bought a clown, and they went out and bought a pied, and they can't figure out why they're not making tons of money now. Or they went out and bought a pastel and like, yeah, I'm going to make millions. And they're selling the same thing that 20 other tables at the show are selling.
Yes. I don't know. I think that a recession, I mean, while it's not great for our pocketbooks, I think it's good for the hobby because it will weed out some of the people who probably shouldn't be here. And get it to like a more stable place and like less like cranking out ball pythons like mad. I mean, 50,000 on Morph Market, that's insane. And when I joined when I joined the hobby, it was like 8,000 or something. I mean, it's ridiculous to even think about.
It's not like 50,000 high quality ball pythons.
No. It's
like 1,000 high quality ball pythons, and then every other person's fucking yellow belly whatever that they thought they were gonna. Because when they went to the show and saw the $5,000 python, $5,000 ball python, they couldn't buy that one. But the guy at the other table had a $100 ball python in their brain. It's a ball python. They bought it, they raised it up, they bred it, and they can't figure out why it only costs $50 now. Like, they only sell babies for $50 because you're breeding a shitty snake. Like, it's not what you are breeding is not the same as watching a Justin Kapilka video going, I'm the same as him. It's just, it's not the same fucking thing.
No, your $100 pastel is I don't care if it's Het Cloud. It's not a.
But it's a pastavi. It's still fucking cheap. It's still a cheap ass snake. Like, you can put all those incomplete dominant genes into it you want, it's still a cheap ass snake. So creative, I'm gonna mess that one.
Corallophus.
That one said quit breeding shit. I agree.
Absolutely.
So I breed boas, and I'm trying to actually breed 3 litters of boas this year, and I'm not overly worried. Like if all 3 take, I think I can sell them because
boas aren't real big right now though.
but they'll sell.
But they will. Like they're
because there's not 50,000 of them on Morph Market.
That's what I meant by they're not.
Yeah.
And so also, I feel like the boa industry, my podcasting partner does boas as well. They're used to the idea of you hatch or not. You don't hatch.
We don't hatch shit. Yeah.
They are birthed to the live balls. I fixed it. Sorry. You're used to it being a little bit longer to sell the entire. Are they called clutches still? Even though
it's a litter.
Eggs? A litter. Okay. You're just used to that timeline of finding the right homes and placing them. Then ball python people are like, oh, they've had their 4 meals. Get out the door. You know
what really helps is the 30 ball python breeders at a show and my one table with boas on it.
Yes.
That really fucking is. Although I did have somebody walk by once when I had albino boas for selling. They're like, are these retics? I'm like, you just need to keep going. You don't need to
walking.
You don't need to buy anything today. Just walk out of the show. But so I was listening to Reptile Fight Club. I'm a few episodes behind, but I skipped to one. It was are morphs bad for snakes? Are they bad to have? It was I fucking forget what the. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I got it right here so I can get the right title. Do morphs take away from the appreciation of wild types? That was the argument they had, and Chuck took the argument side of yes, and man, he was not a fan of morphs. And Justin went ahead and took the other side and argued that they're not, although it kind of ended up feeling very much like Justin just started agreeing with Chuck on a lot of stuff. But listening to it, I really disagreed. Lizard morphs, wild type suck. Yes. Well, so I listened to it, and the problem for like certain species, so they do mostly Morelia, mostly carpet pythons, and they were very upset about morphs and the mixing of stuff and not being able to pass. I listened to another episode which was about lineage. Is lineage worth it? And those 2 episodes kind of went together. But then when you get to things like ball pythons, no one gave 2 shits about a wild type ball python.
None at all.
So like you're not ruining anything there in ball python, and I don't think you're ruining it in any snake. Like one thing that they said was they felt that a lot of people get into snakes, get into the morphs, and then get out of the morphs and realize that the morphs weren't it, and those people got into morphs for the money, or that they get out and they realize they like something else better and they go back to wild types. And I think that's a lot for those guys, because that is the group of people they keep as friends. Like
carpet is a whole nother animal, and they're like very
well. And I know a lot of them, and I'm not saying that they are elitist type people, but they have their own little niche there, and they like the idea of knowing that it comes from this part of Australia and that it's this or that, or that it's this line of whatever. And that's fine. But I don't think getting into morphs means you're in it for the money. Look, I love morphs and boas. I'm definitely not in it for the fucking money because I can't afford anything that's worth the high dollar stuff. I do it because there's a certain look I want, and I've liked that look for 20 years now, and that's what I'm working towards. Or my sand boas. I love the morphs and sand boas, and I'm sure not doing sand boas for the money. So
you mean you're not cranking it in over there over the sand boas?
Tons of sand boa money over here.
He's lying. All of you rush out and get his sand boas quick.
So like to hear that they think that people just get into the morphs. Look, don't get me wrong. We just had this conversation. Tons of people got into ball pythons because they thought they were going to hit it rich, and they were not reptile people. They were not snake people. They were people that thought they were going to make a buck off of it, and now they're realizing that these animals cost money to take care of, and they're not really reptile people, and they don't really want to stay in the hobby. So yes, that does happen. But there are people out there who just like morphs. Like there's nothing wrong for liking the wild type, but it doesn't. I'm trying not to make this. I don't think Chuck's a.
There's still room for both.
Yeah, like so. So like Chuck really likes the wild types. That's fine, but someone like myself really likes morphs in certain things, and that's fine too. And then you've got to move it towards, if you're talking about money, and we talk about these breeders, you've got to start finding that middle ground where you're breeding for just quality. So if you're in it because you really love the morphs, that's great. But don't just breed a whole litter of pastels because you're like, I love pastels. Like that's That's not good for those snakes because one, you're going to be
Right.
stuck with an entire clutch of pastels because they're just not selling because everyone else has them.
An entire clutch of cobra food.
Yes.
Yes.
So that at that point, you've got to be like, all right, well, if I'm going to breed, I need to selectively breed. And that's fine. If you want to breed pastels, let me put it this way. You can breed them, but you better breed the best fucking looking ball python pastel morph on earth and take your time to really fix that thing. Don't just breed shit because you've got it. You're like,
You
no,
better
I
be
can breed
line
it.
breeding the hell out of that.
Yeah, you
and
better
making
become
it
the ball python
Yes.
pastel person.
Yes. Like, Ozzy Boyd and his Orange Dream, like if you're going to do something like that, you need to like really do it. And it's going to take 15 years.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I also agree with you that in the ball python industry, especially, unfortunately, we don't breed quality. It's all about like trying to stay ahead of the Joneses. And if you produce a clutch that has the genes that you want, you keep that snake, whether it's the best example of those genes or not. You just are like, oh, I hit that and it's a double het, so I got to keep it and it's female. Like, who cares if it looks like shit?
Well, and that's the problem is I've seen it shows. So I've got friends that breed. I've got way too many ball python friends for one.
You really do for someone who doesn't like ball pythons.
But I've got friends who breed
It
higher.
makes me laugh.
higher
Every
quality.
time you shit on them, I'm like, man, so many people that do
I
this.
talk shit to their faces.
I know. You do.
But they've got higher end ball pythons, and someone comes up and sees that and then goes, well, why does this one cost $200 more than the one across the room? Well, because the other one looks like shit. Just because it says clown on it doesn't mean it's a good looking clown. So you spend money on the stuff that looks good. Quit breeding the cheap shit. And that happened a lot.
Yeah.
And I've talked about before. There's two what you normally think of as albino and boas. There's Call and there's Sharp. Sharp tends to cost a little more because Call was the first one, and when it was there, everyone got it and they bred it to fucking everything. And albino has a tendency to cover up ugly. And so there were a lot.
It's the lipstick on the pig.
Yeah, there were a lot of ugly albinos, but it was albino and everybody loved it. And then when Sharp came, it had a higher price tag. People weren't just breeding Sharp to whatever fucking snake they got. They were breeding it to better looking stuff. So yes, they are better looking albinos right now because of the path they took, which is why I like to work with Call, because my goal is to prove to folks it's a great looking albino if you breed it properly. So any of those morphs can be you just got to breed it properly. Don't go buy the cheap one just because, like I said, just because Justin has whatever on his table and one gene's in it and that snake costs $5,000, don't go buy the cheapest version of that gene.
Because it will not look the same when you breed it.
Not even close.
No.
Sometimes it pays to buy the name brand. Just like when you
Yes.
grocery shop.
Yes. And now with that said,
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that the big names always have the best looking animals, because there are tons of hobbyists that have been in it for a while and that have done the right path and bought the right animals and bred the right animals that also make great looking animals. You just have to be very selective on the animals you buy.
You also have to know what you're looking for, because what I think is a good example of a gene may not be what you are looking for in that gene. We've actually had this discussion, my co-host and I, about like what you're looking for in the project that I'm in, the G-stripe clown. Some of them are really reduced pattern and they like stripe a lot down the back. And then some of them have like really big, like broken up pattern. And that's what I like, is the big broken up pattern. And so you have to be really careful about how you're breeding, because they have two completely different looks and they're the same project. And so I feel like you have to be really intentional, but people who are like, oh, I just want to get there quick, I don't care, it's got all the right hets or it's got all the right genes. I just feel like we're missing that element that all the other snake industries understand, that like line breeding and the picking for quality. I feel like everybody does a better job of that besides our industry.
And that does lead to the money grab that people are trying to do. They're not succeeding. A lot of people are not succeeding at the money grab they're trying to do in reptiles. But their idea is, if I have these genes, I can make lots of money, which is not true, right? So like in jungle and boas, you can get, jungle's a weird gene. It's an incomplete dominant gene. And you can have people selling a jungle that just looks kind of like a really nice, crisp normal. Or you can have the jungle version where it just really fucks up the pattern. And you get these big breaks and kind of this striping, like the saddles kind of connect. And you get this striping down their back and it cleans them up a lot. And I like that. But there are definitely folks that will go the other way that want that other look.
Yeah.
And so like you're saying, you've got to be very careful with what you pick. And again, you can like quote unquote cheap morphs. That's fine. Like for me, call albinos are cheap. Jungles are cheap. Hypo and boas is cheap. And those three are the things I love and I'm working towards. Really good looking sun glow jungles, which in their own are not an expensive snake. But my goal is to make what I want to make is the prettiest version of that. So again, I go back to if you want to breed pastel ball pythons, do it. But make the best looking one. Don't just produce them because you had a normal.
Don't just make brown slugs, please.
Yeah. You're like, I got this one big normal off of Craigslist. I got this one big female. So I just went out and bought a pastel and now I've made pastels. Well, no, you've made shit.
Yeah. So see, I am 100% fine with like all black snakes or all white snakes or black and white snakes, but I want them to be clean in the process.
Yeah.
So like everybody has the own thing that they are drawn to.
Right.
Well, that's why if you choose the thing that you're drawn to, you'll stay in the hobby longer. It won't be I didn't make 15 grand this month off my snakes or this year off of my snakes, right? You're like, all right, well, I'm working towards something.
That's true.
And it's fine if you didn't make a ton of money because you know what you're now. With that said, you can't go out producing 30 or 40 or 50 babies to try and make that one thing because then you guys have to figure out what to do with those.
Right.
So stop buying single gene animals.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. You have to figure out what you're going to do with all the babies. And that is with reptiles, that is with
humans,
dogs, that is with cats,
humans.
That is with humans.
Please figure out what you're gonna do with all the babies.
That is anything like you.
Dang it, I forgot a step.
You've got to know what are you. It's like you tell me all the time. There's no such thing as a free animal.
Ever. There's never
There's
a free
not.
animal.
No.
But people struggle in remembering that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that's why it's rough when someone comes to a show and they're like, all right, I want to buy something. I've got $200. What can I buy? Nope. I need you to leave. Nothing. I need you to leave.
Because all the supplies for that animal is going to be $200.
Like that's not how you can shop for an animal. And I understand trying to be budget conscious when shopping for something because trust me, I'm very careful with my money if I'm going to buy something, but you can't go into it trying to be the cheapest you can possibly be. This isn't one of those things. This isn't like lowest bidder wins. That's not how this.
Well, and then like it's not a hobby that stops costing money. Like you have to, even if you only buy one snake, you have to feed that snake. And yes, it's a lot less than like a cat or a dog, but if they, they're like, oh, what can I buy and shove in a tank for under $100? It's like this, you need to wait longer until you can afford to like feed the animal as well and take care of it and have upkeep
the way that it deserves to be.
Right. And that's the other thing about, the 100 pastels that are out there, the het freezers or Cobra food. Those are the ones that are most likely to be treated the worst. Yeah. Unfortunately, those are the ones that are going to go for, $40. And so people that they're going to be like a more of an impulse buy or somebody who maybe isn't ready for the commitment because they are having, like other things going on in their life. They shouldn't be buying an animal to take care of. And so, those normals and those like very low end snakes, those are the ones whose quality of life isn't going to be great. And I'm not saying that somebody can't buy a normal and give it a fantastic life, but that's the exception, not the norm.
It doesn't normally happen that way.
Correct. And so, the other thing we have to think about is, if we're not breeding those, $20 to $50 snakes and we're raising the quality of what we're producing to, like the $100 to $200 range, because that's about where the corn snakes hit usually. And, that's a price range where you can feel a little more comfortable with who's buying them, that animal is going to be taken care of.
That makes sense though, because it's because you're paying a little bit more. So, people are like, hey, this isn't just a random.
It's not an impulse buy. Yes.
Yeah.
It's something they've thought about. They've usually researched it. They usually have a cage set up or they are prepared to purchase a cage at the show.
Because they know what it's required.
Correct.
That makes sense.
I mean, like I have a lot of people when I do shows that they must have money just flying out their ears and they hold a baby snake and they fall madly in love with this baby snake and they don't want to give you back this baby snake. And it's not a cheap one. Maybe it's like a $200 to $300 one. And some people would push that snake on those people. It would be really easy to make that sale is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But for me, and then they're asking, like very basic early level questions showing that they know nothing about ball pythons. For me, I'm like, okay, give me back the snake.
Yeah.
Here's my card.
Yeah.
Go home, get on YouTube, watch some videos, and then message me. And I can bring, I do like mini reptile shows if you're local to me. And I'll bring out a couple and you can meet some and pick from there. But please research first. And people tell me, oh, you're letting business walk out the door. But you better believe so many of those people come back and actually do buy a snake, whether it's the next reptile show or they do end up messaging me later, or they message me with questions and then we create like a relationship. And that's a customer for life. So if they decide they want another snake, like they know
you because of the experience they've had before.
Correct. Rather than they're walking out the door and they're like, what did I get myself into? And they've got this live animal that they don't know how to feed. They don't know how to even find rodents. Like the idea of buying a rodent is so foreign to them. Like they don't know anything. And so
they walk out with that snake inside of a critter keeper and they're like, all right, I've got a cage for it.
I'm good. This little deli cup's good for life, right?
Gosh.
And so, I get some flack from other sellers because I'll turn away business. And sometimes those people will just go to the next table over and buy that $20, $40
great thing is it's your snake. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Exactly. And for me, like, I don't feel good about that. I can't feel good about that situation at all. And so I just don't do it. But
there you go.
Like our friend Amanda Reddy from Reddy's Rainforest, they do panther chameleons. She said people always wonder why our panthers are different prices. And it's because we can see the potential in some that others don't have. Like pattern and shape, and even in the same clutch, they can see that some are going to look different. They know that there's not a set price for panther chameleons. Some are going to turn out much brighter, and they should cost more. And so you can talk to them, and I've seen them at shows. They'll talk to people until they're blue in the face, and they will explain every bit of it to you. And so don't just go buy a cheap panther chameleon. So there's a guy at some of the shows that we do who sells eggs, panther chameleon eggs.
Oh no.
And I get that it's an old school thing and it's happened, but I'm just wondering how many of those people have bought that egg, put it up on a shelf, and then just totally forgot about it because it has to be there for like 9 months.
Oh my gosh.
Like, but then you go see like
stresses me out.
Amanda
stresses me. I'm having like
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I'm having like ulcer anxiety, like, whoa, that's not how we do
the thing is
anymore.
I think it's the selling point for the general person is that egg is way cheaper than going over to the Reddy's and buying a well-started baby.
There is nothing that beats a well-started baby by somebody who really knows what they're doing, who has history in the hobby, who can pass along knowledge. In the comments is Richard from Creative Coralofis, and they're talking about, like, we did an episode with him and he was talking about how he likes to feed his crested geckos like all the different kinds of bugs and the food. So like when you get that animal, you know that animal is going to eat for you, and you know that you're going to be able to feed it whatever it needs to be fed. And you can't put a price on that. Like that is what the pet industry needs, is a well-established, healthy animal that can handle a few bumps and mistakes, because nobody's going to get it right the first time. But if it's not,
but someone who's going to take that time to put into that animal before they sell it to you is someone that you're going to be able to go back to talk to, and is going to welcome those conversations. Because I'll be honest, after talking with the Reddies at that one show, and we have an 11-year-old, and the time that they spent with her, not even really talking to either one of us, but just talking to her about, because she's obsessed with chameleons. I have no doubt that if we ever lose our brains and decide one day, hey, we're going to get chameleons,
no, we're good. We're good.
She's going to take it over.
They're going to come from the Reddies.
I love the Reddies, but nope.
I mean, said when we lose, it means I'd have to take care of it.
That felt like a hard no. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I agree with him as well. But but it's one of those people where I can honestly say, if I ever buy a chameleon, that's who it's coming from.
Absolutely.
And I don't care what the price is. I don't care who else is out there,
because it's quality.
Because I've made that connection with the person.
Well, it's like Luke.
Those are also the people you want to be supporting in the hobby right now when things are getting tough, is those people that have really put in the time, those people that are really putting out quality, those people that are there for secondary questions. If somebody doesn't tell you, you can message me when you get home, and there are no stupid questions, and you're not bothering me. If you don't hear those words come out of the person's mouth when you're even at a reptile show, then that's probably not the person you should be buying from, because if they're not willing to support you through your journey with that reptile, then that person maybe shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
I do have to disagree with one thing. Being a high school teacher,
there are stupid
questions.
I get in the general world where people are like, there's no stupid question you should always ask.
Sometimes you could just read the paper I gave you and the answer's on the paper.
Or sometimes just
That's fair.
Or sometimes just think, just stop for 1 second and think, is the thing I'm about to say make any sense?
I have one student. We are almost 18 weeks into the school year. I teach 3rd grade, so I have 8-year-olds. I have one student every time they do an assignment, the paper goes in the bucket with my name on it because I have 2 classes. Every time anything they turn in goes in that bucket. Every time. Every day, at least 3 times a day, they're putting something in that bucket for the last 18 weeks. Today, he stands up. All right, Miss Lewis, what do I do with this paper? Because I'm done. And this is every day, 3 times a day. He asks me this question before I could say a word. The sweet, precious girl who never opens her mouth next to him looks at him and goes, she called him by name, and she goes, we do this every day. I need you to stop and think. And I just stood there. I was like, here's a ticket for you for prize bucket. Go put your name in for the drawing. Like, he just looked at her and he goes, oh, and then walked off. And then he didn't ask me for the next 2 papers. I was like, oh, we had a breakthrough.
My problem is my memory is horrible because I've had a million dumb questions and I wish in the last 11 years of teaching I would have written them down because the book would have been, because it's quite like, so Amanda says she says they always say there's no such thing as a dumb question. Again,
it's a different audience, right? Yes, it's a different.
I get it. You want them to ask questions to keep that loser alive. Correct. I just want them to fucking know how to put their name on their paper. Really, is what I want. Or like so today I had
to keep from crying.
Today I had kids.
I can't imagine what you do. I mean, I could not do it.
I had kids that missed a test. So today I had kids making up a test, and every single fucking one of them, when I handed, do not write on the test, only write on the answer sheet. Half of them came back with their name and everything circled. Like, what the fuck are you doing? We never write on the test ever. Small. Anyways, back to so Luke over at Lizard Morph said he always asks for more money than his competition. He says same genes doesn't mean same animal. And so I think one thing, and I've talked about Robert with this, one thing this recession I think is going to do is it is going to cause people to start thinking their projects through in more detail.
Yes. It
will also get a lot of these sloppy breeders out of the way. And people are going to refine their collections. I think you're still going to have the big breeders breeding because that's, I mean, they're fine and that's fine. Right. But I think you're going to get a lot more focus on smaller breeders. And I think that shows you're going to start to see people focusing on projects. So you're not going to go to someone, say it's a ball python table. You're not going to go to them. They're going to have 7 or 8 different genes on their table. They may have an animal with 3 genes, but it'll be like 4 or 5 animals with those 3 genes. And it's the best version of that they could have made, not 2 genes over here and 2 genes over there. And just, they're like, I've got to have a little bit of everything, which is not what you need. Like, we've got a guy that does the shows down here, Split Rock Reptiles. He makes, and again, I know I shit on ball pythons, but he makes, why can't I think of the ball python that he, the one that Chris hates? What is
Russo?
it called? No,
or hypo.
It's not hypo. It's the one that oh fuck.
I got nothing.
No, it's there's 2 that look alike, and they're not the same, but they're shit. Why can I not think of what it is?
I got nothing.
You can. You've seen them.
Lesser.
Nope, no, those are all common.
Hypo. What?
No, he always throws it into the hypo conversation, but it's not a hypo. It's oh my god, my brain is gone blank. I've completely forgotten people's names at this point because I know like.
You had too much sugar with dinner.
Was it Corey Martin breeds it?
No, it's not. It's not her Huffmans. I know those because I make.
Huffmans. Okay, that was the other one. I couldn't.
It's not that one. It's what? Why can I not think of what's her name? Who?
Heidi and Jack.
Nope.
Brittany Gobble.
Nope. Fuck.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out.
You know who I'm talking about though? Her and
Banana.
I know Banana.
Well, no, but Darren Watson said banana.
Shut up, Darren. I know Banana. I can think of a banana.
I got nothing, guys. Fuck.
That was an awesome one.
There's someone listening to this in the car right now.
It makes no sense. It's
not. They're screaming the answer at their radio.
Why can I not think of their names? And it just the two that got engaged. and one does one version and one does the other.
Is it Enhancer and Desert Ghost?
No. You know why can I not think of their names?
Zach and
Miri.
Yeah.
It's the one that
Miri does.
I think Miri does.
I can Google it.
I know. Chris, you can see me.
Chris, he's gonna have an aneurysm here, man.
Ultramel. Oh, Monarch and Ultramel.
Fuck me.
Monarch and Ultramel, right?
She does Monarch. He does Ultramel. That's
what it is. She
But-
does the Monarch.
I got there, Chris. Sorry, I had no
Lord.
idea what he was talking about.
Oh God.
We've got to move our camera next week because I cannot see what's popping up on the chat from right here, and it is driving me
Anyways,
batshit crazy.
But
You're also like this big.
I know. I
You're,
don't know
like,
why I'm so
this
tiny.
big.
because I need to get like a real camera at some point.
That's okay.
But I appreciate this camera because it came from our buddy Chris.
It did come from Chris.
Oh.
But
You
no,
should have
but
him sign it. You guys can
Jim
toss it in a
Sargent.
US ARC auction once you get a new one.
Jim Sargent made some of the best. Like I've seen other pictures of Ultramels out there, and they don't even come close to what Jim did. And I remember, I think it was a Stafford show. Jack and Heidi went to his table and bought everything off of his table, adults, babies, everything he had. And so like they have that project now, and it's with the best looking ones you could have. They are amazing looking. So yes, Luke, it's 143 episodes, and I can't get a decent camera because they still cost money no matter how many episodes I do.
Dude, we're two teachers, and I got expensive taste on everything else.
They are raising the next generation. Don't hate.
Oh God, don't say that.
That scares me a little bit.
I always
Let's
tell
not go
people
there.
the worst thing about being a teacher is that you can see the future, and it's not fucking good.
It's not
It's
good.
just not
So
good.
bad. It's like ADD had ADD children
Well,
and
and
then
I'll
gave
be-
them devices all day.
The amount of apathy out there is just sickening.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, the third graders this year, I will say that today I saw huge strides and gains in these kids from where they were the first week that I got them. But this third grade group is the group that didn't have kindergarten or first grade because of
Yeah.
COVID. So like the first week of school, it was, he looked at me, and I'm like, I don't know how to teach this shit. Give me
You're
kids
like,
that need to
go
learn
back
how
to
to read.
kindergarten. Yes.
Like, I don't do social skills. You need to have all
Right.
that shit figured out before you get to me. Like, I came from 5th grade down to 3rd grade. No, I don't. I
Oh.
will not go lower than 3rd grade.
Right. And they're at like a first grade level because they're
So are my high
Nice.
schoolers.
Now, reading wise, I got it. I can teach kids how to read with my eyes closed. Let's do it. But
I believe it's supposed to
Lord.
say ass whoopings from my dad, but it says ass shoppings, which seems like a completely different thing. He said nothing a few ass shoppings wouldn't cure.
oh god.
And I
You're
think
shopping
that's
for
a completely-
asses now. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a
wow.
completely different thing.
Oh my stars.
And
Pass or smash. All right, let's do it, guys.
but so anywho, so yeah, I think with the direction things are going and with the way the economy is, you're going to see a refocusing on projects, which may be very good for the hobby.
I hope
Um,
so. I hope so a lot.
I hope it doesn't lead to everybody getting out of the projects and then other dumbasses buying their shit and trying to do it also, which I'm sure it will in some cases.
There'll be
so-
some of that for sure.
Someone's like, I'm selling my whole collection of 6 ball pythons and a rack. And like, someone's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that. I'm going to make money. I'm like, fucker, they're selling it because they didn't make money. What the fuck are you going to do with it? But anyways, dumb people. You can't help it. Oh shit.
Well, I mean, all
What
ball
happened?
python breeders are
nothing.
dumb people. So
Oh.
there has to be something fundamentally wrong with all of us if we're ball python breeders.
I
We
agree.
just-
There's
we just
definitely
gotta
something
start
wrong.
out there. All my friends that are breeders, they breed other things besides ball pythons, and so they really like to rag on me. That,
As they should.
as they
Oh,
should.
fucking-
I'm trying to branch out a little bit.
Don't worry about it. You do you.
Yeah, yeah. It's just they're so. I mean, like anybody can do it. They're
Look, everybody's got to have whatever their hobby is. That not if everybody did it, then it wouldn't be cool anymore.
everybody does do it. So does that
Okay,
mean
well,
that
I
I'm
got-
not cool?
There's a lot of
Got
people doing
nothing
it.
there then.
Oh
That's
my
the problem.
goodness.
But not everyone does the morphs you have.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Or do they? I don't know. I don't know that.
No,
answer.
no.
But well, I also have the opportunity because it's such an untapped area, and I do all the shows. I have the opportunity. I have a snake that I bring that he's the sweetest snake in the whole world, and he's like super mellow. Like kids can like put their whole fist around his face, and he never like
They can
reacts.
fist what?
No, James.
Did you say you have kids? Wait, what?
James, stop it. Unacceptable.
He's not head shy, okay? So
Oh,
that just took it way worse. Anyway,
Oh god.
I have the opportunity to do outreach as well with ball pythons, and they are a really good ambassador snake. They're a gateway snake, you know, and so there's room in the hobby for the gateway snake
I
because
don't think I've
they
ever
can
heard them called that before.
lure you in, and then they learn about the other cool stuff. But it's a good starter snake, and it's a good snake to. I don't think this is talked about very much. I know Corey Martin does talk about it, and I need to get together with her and do like an episode on it or whatever.
She's
but
fabulous.
Like, she's incredible.
Love me some
Love
Corey
her.
Martin.
She's the only other person I've heard talking about it that they make good therapy animals.
100%.
Yeah, they're incredible, and that's actually like one of the reasons that we got into ball pythons is that my oldest is actually on the spectrum, and during COVID, and they're having to do all their stuff on a computer, and it's not the same format that she's used to, and she just had a really hard time regulating herself. And it doesn't matter like how much therapy you go to or how many tools they have in their tool belt. I mean, when things get that crazy, like we were all freaking out. So how is she supposed to handle it?
Absolutely.
We got a ball python, and she would get that ball python, and he would just immediately calm her down in a way that nothing else could. So there's like pictures of her in her yearbook, when you know the yearbook where you send in pictures because it was COVID,
right,
with her snake like on her math book, because that was the only way that she could do her math homework.
Yes.
And so a lot of parents that have kids on the spectrum, or we're seeing a lot more there's a lot more diagnosis happening for kids with ADHD and other things. Like you hand those kids a snake and you can just see an immediate change in their body language.
So it's funny that you bring that up. So when we lived in Louisiana, I taught at a very low income, very high poverty school. And I it was one of those schools where when other teachers heard what school you were at, there were faces made and they were appalled that you taught there. Okay.
That's really sad.
I taught 5th grade. I had kids that were going home and taking care of toddler children because their parents were working nights, and then they would come in the next morning and like sleep for a few hours before they would wake up and do lessons. So it was a rough environment. Loved it. I felt like I made a huge difference at that school. But I had reptiles in the classroom. I had a bearded dragon who was a rescue. She had severe, metabolic bone disease when we got her. We got her from a friend of ours. Works for, I get this wrong every time. It's not Wildlife and Fisheries. Forestry Service. I get it wrong every time. But they had confiscated her and she had her in her office. I was talking about getting a bearded dragon from my classroom and she was like, hey, why don't you take her? Maybe she needs to be around people. She thrived in the classroom. Loved it. But I explained it to the kids like, hey, we're going to have this animal come in. She has special needs.
And some of the
kids were like, well, we have special needs and you help us with stuff so we can help her with stuff. Like that's what these kids, that was the connection they made.
Awesome. Yeah. And they need that.
Yes. And I had 3 or 4 kids who were autistic that I taught. I had one that wasn't in my room the whole time, but he would come in for certain lessons and then go back to another classroom. And they could be having a bad day. So they'd stay in for like the first 15 minutes of PE or for recess. And it was like, okay, who are we holding today? Are we getting out the bearded dragon? Exactly. Are we getting out the corn snake? Are we getting out the leopard gecko? Who do you need to chill with for a little bit? And they would get, they would tell me, I'd get the animal out. I had a little chair they'd sit in and you could visibly see the change.
Is incredible.
It was absolutely outstanding. I actually started a zoology club at my school here in Texas.
Oh, that's really awesome.
And they're loving it. And I've got a couple of kids who behavior wise, they were on the fence about being let into the club. And I was like, you know what? So I met with them each individually. I was like, we're going to see, but your behavior has to improve. Or you cannot. And all of their teachers have told me that in the classroom, they've shown so much growth. They're like, they're still not, where the rest of their classmates are behaviorally,
but they're trying.
They are actually trying because they know Miss Lewis is going to kick them out of zoology club if they can't get it together. So I'm like, animals really are, especially for kids. It really is a really awesome thing to expose them to and stuff like that.
So sorry, go ahead.
Getting too wholesome.
I was quick pause because I don't know.
Is that me on the floor?
That was you dropped your phone.
Oh.
Quick pause for slight sponsor stuff just because I got a text. Just want to let everybody know there's still a Black Friday sale. Robert has a Black Friday sale on his Almost Reptile Racks.
Oh, yes, he does.
10% off with code BF2020 at checkout. Good through midnight on the 2nd, on January 2nd. No, December
cool.
2nd. December 2nd, not January 2nd. December 2nd. Ooh, that was a long sale.
December
2nd. So 10% off anything. He had issues. Several of our friends who have reptile-ish related Facebook pages this past weekend, for some reason, got them shut down and canceled and closed. Even though nothing was,
Yeah, one of them was a tarantula page.
yeah, like her Instagram page is pretty much now
everything
gone.
was taken down.
So I learned a trick. I can't remember who told me this, but if you go on your sister account, whether it's your Instagram that got canceled or your Facebook, if you go on your sister account and you pay for an ad, you can actually message somebody at Facebook or Instagram and tell them that your thing got deleted for no reason, and they'll give it back to you because you've paid for ads, so you're like a paying customer, and it's worked every time.
Huh.
I don't
Even if it's like a $10 ad,
yeah,
and then you can get your whole account back because you can't reach anybody if you're not paying them.
Nope.
But that's the trick that I've been told. I'll have to try to remember.
I'll reach out to her and let her know. Yeah,
I've been told that that's what works.
But I wanted to get to Robert wouldn't hit his 5-hour drive home turned into a 7.5-hour drive home. They finally got home. But
glad they got home.
Yeah, 10% off on all racks, cages, hides, everything. BF 2022 at checkout. So that's right. Sean did have issues with that. Sean Gray had issues, and he is a paying customer, and he had issues.
And he didn't get it back.
No,
but no, his was the PayPal
else,
issue.
Though. His didn't disappear.
His was the PayPal, not the Facebook. I think he still has Facebook. He still has.
Yeah, his was a PayPal issue.
He never got the PayPal.
Oh, well,
stuff.
PayPal,
like
they like
a whole
seized
thing.
people's funds and were
it was bad.
There was all kinds of anarchy.
Oh yeah, Robert had money taken out of his bank account from PayPal. Like they just went in and took it out. I'm like, okay, well, that's awesome. But
that doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all.
Right. Makes me want to get rid
anyone
of all
else. That's
forms
called
of electronic
robbery.
Right.
Oh, that's right. The Herps Facebook page did go away. I think they're using the Herps shop now.
Oh,
I haven't used the Herps Reptile shop Facebook page because the Herps Facebook page did go away and you couldn't get it back. I don't know. The people in charge of all this stuff. Anyways, before I get canceled for something.
Yes, let's move on. I'm sure we're gonna get flagged for enough shit on this podcast. Let's not add that to it.
Sorry.
I did want
the opening ruined the whole episode.
Oh Lord.
So this was something that was posted in a BOA's group, and this is why the future of America is horrible and we're screwed. This person posted, so I was handling my baby Guyana and red tail, 4-ish months old, and I let my puppy sniff him. I'm gonna stop there for a second.
This is the one you showed me, isn't it?
Yeah. Can anybody guess what the puppy did?
This makes my stomach hurt.
The puppy reached out and bit the snake, and
I was gonna say the puppy probably.
Yeah.
The snake's not dead, but there's a section of the skin that got peeled back. You can see the muscle underneath it.
It made my stomach hurt.
Like
I get asked this question so often, like, "Oh, is this snake gonna hurt my dog or cat?" And I'm like, "No, your dog or cat is gonna hurt your snake."
Yeah.
Yes.
Like protect your snake from your other animals.
That's because everybody wants to think their animals are just like them, and they want to fucking anthropomorphize everything. And they're like, "My dog's gonna love my snake." I'm like, "To eat,
or to play with. It's a toy."
So yeah, I saw the post in a BOA group, and I didn't actually go. I should have gone back and seen the comments. I can only imagine it's probably not there anymore. If someone was smart, they probably took it off.
Down, yeah.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, fucking people. So, just fun things you see on Facebook. I remember they got sent to me in a group chat.
Oh, we had one time in one of our local groups, a person bought a tank off of Facebook Marketplace, like a fully set up tank that's supposed to be empty, and they bring it home to clean it, and there was like a shriveled up alive ball python that was like, there was no water in this tank. There was no, I mean, like they literally sold it and didn't tell anybody there was an animal in it, and they get it and they're like taking everything out to clean it, and here's this like half dead ball python. She brought it back to life. She got it healthy. It's living its best life. Like it's doing great now, but it was the saddest, most horrible story I had ever heard. Like literally, who does that? You didn't know there was a live animal in that thing? Like
probably not.
Me?
That's
like
no, they didn't care if they did.
They just didn't care. And so, I followed that story
Gosh.
for like 6 months. It was like a 6-month-long journey to get it back up to like good weight and all. It was crazy. And I was just like, how can people sleep at night?
So
I ask myself that on a regular daily basis, but
I'm scanning through and I'm not finding that post. I'm thinking it got taken down. Because I can only imagine that the people in that group just tore them a new one. No pun intended on the snake that also got torn, but
oh, not cool, James.
said no pun intended.
No.
Anyways.
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. That's right. Too soon.
So looking over on our podcast discussion group, I was going through some of the things. One cool thing was a video I posted. It was baby horned lizards getting released. You saw that one, Katie?
I did. They're so cute.
This is
I actually shared
Chrissy's
it.
favorite part where we start talking about things that are online that people can't see.
So in our we do this thing called target reading, and we read one passage every day for a week, and every day they have a different written response question they have to answer and multiple choice. And the one 2 weeks ago was on Texas horned lizards, and it's really fun because there's like links that takes you to and learn all about them. And so being someone new to Texas, it's really cool to learn about our state lizard.
Wait, you're new to Texas?
Only for like a year. This is only our second year in Texas.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought you guys were like all hardcore in the Texas group.
No.
We're friends with them though. We moved from Louisiana a year and a half ago because teachers make a lot more money here than they do in Louisiana, and we're both teachers.
That's so sad.
And then prior to that, we both lived. Well, he kind of lived all over the South, but I lived in South Alabama.
I'm watching a video that I somehow missed, posted to our thing, of a Komodo dragon in someone's hotel room.
Is that going to the bathroom?
Yeah, now I just went to the bathroom. That scene was there, but I'm assuming they're staying in Komodo, and this Komodo dragon was in their bath. I could not imagine it's a full-grown ass Komodo dragon in their bathroom.
You would have had a
like
stroke.
Surprise.
You would have loved every
fucking
minute
amazing.
of it.
You are not being punked right now.
No.
Also, there was a cool table that's been floating around in pretty much every reptile group over the last few days. Have you seen the table of the guy that he carved like a crocodile or an alligator into the top of the table?
And it looks like it's moving.
It looks like it's swimming through the table.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. It floated through several things. I'm trying to see what else there is.
He has several table though. He just has the alligator, crocodile, and then he just
the snake. The snake doesn't look good.
The snake, there's something about the way that it looks or appears to be moving that just didn't flow well, in my opinion. But
there's also the picture you posted of the giant turtle in our living room.
We did. We adopted the cutest little turtle this weekend. You can get your own for $16.88 from Walmart in the Christmas decoration section.
It's got a cute Christmas hat on. Stands about 3 foot tall.
He's adorable.
Amen.
Doesn't
oh my
eat
gosh,
much.
I have 3 turtles. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Ours are in Louisiana because they're.
But this inflatable one.
But the inflatable one is great.
Eats way less.
He's adorable. He may go on the front porch after this weekend. I haven't decided yet. He's taking up a lot of space in my living room.
I bet. I have 2 painted turtles, and they're out in my pond because they'll overwinter now. We had to wait till they were over a year old and over 4 inches because technically you're not supposed to sell them, but for education, they sell like the little ones and they're not supposed to. But now I know better. I didn't at the time when we got them. Don't buy little turtles, everyone. It's illegal. And then we have a diamondback terrapin.
Ooh, we can't have those.
They're amazing. So they're like little avatars, and
we had them at the zoo.
I used to take care of them at the zoo. We can't own them in Texas.
That's really sad. I'm sorry.
It's so sad.
Because if I was going to own a water turtle, that's the one I'm getting.
That's the one.
Serious. It's like literally an avatar in your tank. They're the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
And so I mean, but they're.
If we ever move away from Texas, I want to live somewhere where we can own them.
We could have probably had one. I think we could have had one in Louisiana.
Yeah, but we couldn't have brought it over with us.
No, we could not.
No.
Unlike the pine snakes,
which I legally brought over.
Which we did. We called.
Before I freaks out.
We called
FBI. We did our paperwork.
We talked
they
to
are here.
several people, and we were like, "This is what we have. This is our documentation. They were captive bred. This is where we're moving. What do we need to fill out? What do we need to sign? We need these to not ever be taken away from us."
I mean, you have to be really careful.
You do.
People don't know that there's rules, and they just like move willy nilly and think that it'll be fine. But the rules, especially right now, they're cracking down and trying to get a lot more
Yes.
rules passed. Like you really need to be paying attention
Well, like
if you're going to
Darren-
be crossing a state line.
If I remember correctly, Darren lives in a place where you can't own a corn snake unless it has red eyes.
Yeah,
I think he's in New Jersey. You
I
can't.
want to say in Georgia. That's
No, Georgia, I don't think you can. I think that
That's really weird.
there's a different rule. That, but I want to say New
either
Jersey's
Jersey or New York.
Jersey's the red eye. I think they've got to have red eyes, and then you can legally.
Yeah.
If he's still in the chat, he'll let us know. Our buddy Max is doing it. I haven't watched the video. I apologize, Max. He didn't get eaten by that bear, and so I've kind of not watched his
You're
stuff.
so horrible.
But he's doing an enclosure giveaway on his channel over at Max Wildlife Photographer. That's a mouthful, man. You really have shortened that. That is crazy. So go win you an enclosure. Anybody wants to win an enclosure? Darren said that's correct. You can't own any corn snakes unless they have red eyes.
Huh.
So if you move there with a corn snake that has black eyes, you are fucked.
Damn.
They're going to come take that sucker.
Yes. Someone posted in there said, "Hey guys, love the podcast. Just seeing this on Morph Market. And it was Solomon Island starter pack. It's from so it's a Solomon Island. It's Solomon Island ground boas.
Okay,
$175.
It's
a starter pack.
also,
I didn't know that we were marketing them that way.
It's also underground reptiles. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I'm also thinking at some point I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and just own a caiman and give up all my hopes on alligators.
I could get behind that.
But they're such little assholes.
Oh, well, you're in Texas. I was going to say, where are you going to put that thing?
Yeah.
Outside. Or I could be like people up in Michigan and just put it in my basement. Or my
hey, they have a
bathtub.
facility now.
Well, no, there's the people that we follow that we have we've had them on here before. They do an alligator sanctuary, and they have so many rescued alligators from up there because people up north just fucking get alligators. Like there's so many people up there. They're like, we're gonna own an alligator, but we can't. But we live in a place where they could survive outside, and we can't fucking have them.
Yeah, that's crazy. So my kids and I are huge fans of Snake Discovery, and
yes.
they advocate a lot for not owning an alligator, and it's just crazy to me. They're illegal here, and so like every once in a while you'll see one pop up on the news that's getting confiscated, and that'll run through all the reptile groups as everybody's like, which one of you?
Yes.
Because I have them like in their garage, and it gets very cold here in the winter. I mean, not as cold as some of the other places, but too cold for an alligator.
Well, our buddy Nathan posted a video of this person feeding their little caiman with tongs, and now I'm like, I guess I can own a caiman. I don't like caiman. I like alligators, but I really miss working with crocodilians. So
well,
I guess
what I hear is that the great state of Texas is not going to be hanging on to you.
I was about to
they
say
pay too much. I have to stay here. They pay too much. I have to stay here.
Yeah.
Well,
At least till our kid graduates high school.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
She's in middle school now. It would suck to move her.
Did you say she's 11?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's 10 and in 5th grade. I am not ready for middle school.
So I'll be honest, like she is adjusting beautifully. What I don't enjoy is that the teachers do not communicate at all to parents.
Darren said they can't own alligators. Darren said they can't own those either. Do you mean just alligators, Darren, or do you mean like crocodilians?
Caimans?
Because I mean, you can own a little pissed off dwarf caiman, maybe. That's the only problem is all those little tiny species of caiman are assholes, and they don't know
what to tell you, man.
And they don't look cool. I want a Chinese alligator, is what I want. And Chris Dieter needs to give me a Chinese alligator.
You have to bring him up, bless him,
because he's got like 1 trillion Chinese alligators,
and
I want one. Darren says all crocs.
That's not how that works, James.
New Jersey just doesn't want y'all owning stuff. I don't know why. There's nothing going to survive in the water.
Well, I never once said that I was moving to New Jersey, so I don't.
No, I was,
She's like, thinking, them are fighting words.
Like if they're afraid things are going to survive.
If I can't get sweet tea in any place that I walk into, we're going to have an issue.
Anything that gets out in Jersey is going to have to go near the water, and the water in Jersey will just kill it. So, I mean,
you would not do well in Seattle, honey. There is only coffee.
I know. And I don't even drink coffee. That's the crazy thing.
There's coffee on every corner.
Oh, man. It's on my bucket list of places to visit one day, but
it's a beautiful place to visit.
I'm going to go when it stops raining.
Oh, yeah.
So you're never coming?
I was going to say, good luck with that.
Be there as soon as it quits raining. Amanda Rady says she wants an alligator too. Amanda, we can't have them. We live in a state that says no to alligators.
Wait. So can you live like on the state line, like have your house on one side of the state line and then commute to a school on the Texas side?
No.
Well, you can't have them in Louisiana either because it's native
Oh.
quadruped.
Well, there's
rude.
permits. You can get them.
Oh, can you?
I think with a permit.
Oh, I don't know.
You can't own them, but you can shoot them and eat them.
That seems like
But you
totally
can't own 'em.
valid. Yeah. Let's
So.
do that.
There's enough of them that they have a hunting season.
Oh yeah, there's shit tons of them. They're in every body of water.
That's crazy.
But I just want one in my backyard because I miss alligators. And that's the only problem. Is like you can own a Nile croc, right? You can own a Nile crocodile in the state, or any of the other crocodiles, which would make horrible pets.
They would. They're
But an
so
alligator-
temperamental.
An alligator compared to those would make an amazing pet because they're so much calmer. They're like, no, you can't own that. You have to own the one that wants to kill you. It's the only one you're allowed to have.
Sorry, babe.
So I'm gonna get a fucking caiman. Amanda, we're getting caimans. You want a caiman? We're gonna get a. You guys.
Whoa.
They're
She
like,
can
we're
get-
going
I
halvesies.
don't know. I don't know. Was she gonna get like visitation rights?
No, she's
Like-
gonna get one too. We'll just find someone to make us a deal on 2 caiman,
Oh my god.
and we'll get
Our
caiman.
husband might have a say in this.
He'll want one too, I'm sure. It's a caiman. It's like a chameleon.
No, it is nothing like
It's very
a
si-
chameleon.
it's very si- they've got legs,
Oh, God.
eyes that they don't look in the same direction as a chameleon, but they got eyes.
Oh my gosh.
They've got a tail.
No, James.
It's very chameleon-ish.
No. not
Just
at
start
all.
feeding the one in your ditch.
I
Yes.
had to remove an
just
alligator
leave
when I
it.
lived in
It's
when I lived in
fine.
Louisiana. I had to remove an alligator from a
I
ditch.
do remember that.
It was down the culvert underneath like a driveway. I
Mm-hmm.
had to remove it.
They called. We worked at the zoo at that point.
Yeah.
And they were
That's
like,
when I punched my boss in the face. on accident. I went to
Nice.
Yeah.
reach for the alligator.
On accident.
It was on
it really
accident.
was. But
He
let
was
me tell you, that man milked that story for everything it was
Oh,
worth.
I'm
Anytime he
sure.
needed James for anything, it was. I mean,
He's got
remember
you
that
for life.
time? Remember that time?
I was trying to move quick to grab the alligator. On the way to grab the alligator, my hand went straight across his face. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry."
You hadn't been working there very
wasn't long. It
either.
wasn't long.
Uh-uh. He was a funny man. He really was.
When I lived in Florida for a year, my sister had a canal out back, as many do in Florida.
Yes, see
And-
anal side exotics. Whenever you listen back to this, canals in Florida, not in Canada.
Oh my god.
So she had little kids when I lived with her. I was about 16, and her kids were like my kids' age. And like there was a rule like that you weren't allowed to go in the backyard without a grown-up because kids would get eaten.
Yep.
Like that was not an abnormal thing. And I was like, oh, you're pulling my leg. And she's like, no, wait, just wait a couple weeks and it'll come up on the news. And I really thought she was kidding. And I thought she was kidding when she would tell her kids, like, because she'd tell them every day, remember there's, alligators or crocodiles. Which one is it?
Alligators.
Alligators. There's alligators in the canal. Don't play down there without a grown up. And sure enough, like 2 weeks later on the news, just like this little blip, like it was no big deal, 6-year-old eaten by, I mean, it's just like, and nobody cared. They're like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. I'm like, okay.
So I kayak fish, and I've lived in Louisiana for the last 14 years. And it'd just be funny listening to Northerners like, what do you do about the alligators when you go fishing? I'm like, oh, just paddle past them. Like, yeah, I mean, they're there. I don't know what you want. They're like, I'd never go fishing with alligators. I'm like, well, then you'd never fucking go fishing. I'm like,
in the south.
every body of water down here has an alligator. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my gosh, my brother-in-law took me fishing because we're a fishing family, and I will never forget the experience. It was not good. Here we are in this little canoe, right? Paddling down the canal, and he hadn't warned me or anything because he thought it would be funny to see how I reacted. And this giant alligator, bigger than our kayak or canoe, just like swam right under us.
Oh, yeah?
And I thought I was going to
rocks the
die.
boat and
Yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah. Like it wasn't even messing with us. It could care
No.
less about what we were
Yeah.
doing. But I thought I was
You
going to
think
die.
you're going in the water and
You
are
think
about
your
to become
dinner.
lunch.
Yes. And I was like crying. I was only 16 and I'd never even seen one in real life. So I was like literally like in the bottom of the canoe, like bawling. And I was like, I'm never going fishing again in Florida.
I
And
paddled
like
past-
literally his boys would like fish in their canal and like they didn't care that there were crocodiles. Like you could see the little crocodile eyes and they'd still be like fishing out there. Like It was nothing.
I paddled past so many alligators when I fish in Louisiana.
Oh yeah.
They normally would you go up to them and they'd sink down and you get past them, and then once you're past them, they come back up.
Yeah, they didn't care. I was the only one that cared.
Yes.
Now, with that said, we can do that because we live in America with alligators and they're big old pussies.
I did not know that. I was being the giant pussy at the time.
It's not like we're trying to kayak fish in the Nile River or in northern Australia near saltwater crocodiles. Like that shit's not going to happen. They will kill you. They will grab you, eat you, and kill you. American alligators like, no, you can keep going. We're good. I'm not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You yell at them, they'll go on. Amanda said a pied alligator. Yeah, they're okay.
I don't know. I have to look that
I've
one
never
up.
seen. Yeah,
I don't know that.
hang on, I'm googling it.
It's white. It's black with white splotches.
I'm probably gonna like it.
Maybe. Luke says alligators are puppy dogs. Yes, he says salties take you from a boat. Yes, they do. That's like I said, we're lucky. We have alligators.
Oh, it's kind of cute.
It's really cute.
I like that one. All right,
Have you
Amanda.
seen-
Now I'm gonna be like Chuck. Fucking morphs have ruined the wild. They ruined the wild look of reptiles.
No, I mean that's really cool. I like pied. Have you seen Brian Barczyk's Salt and Pepper Alligators?
It's been years because I refuse to watch his videos anymore.
Okay. Well, he has them, and he has a white one that's really freaking cool.
What cracks me up about people when they see white alligators are like, oh, they're so rare. I'm like,
they're not as rare as you
not
think.
really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard that they're not, but I don't have an opportunity
they're rare
to
for
see
me.
them.
That doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
They're rare, but like the Audubon Zoo has a shit ton of them. They just don't tell anybody. That's why they always like loan out their white alligator. Then they're really loaning out one of their white alligators.
Yeah.
One of the collection.
Everybody's like, "Ooh, we got the one." No, you got one
they're like
a few.
Travel on down to New Orleans. You'll see they still have one on exhibit because.
But they're really, really cool to see the white alligators.
Oh yeah.
All right, Luke from Lizard Morphs, shut the fuck up. We know that you have albino and melanistic blue tongues. The fuck up.
Hey, come on, Luke. You had your episode. Be quiet. Pipe down to the back there.
He has melanistic blue tongues, and they're fucking affordable. We get it.
I know.
He just put one in
What do teachers get paid over there, Luke? Huh?
That's a big move to.
I was just gonna say what.
I don't think I'm moving to Australia.
What they're worth.
I mean, I'd have to get rid of all my animals because you can't bring any animals.
You can't bring them
wait, that means we get rid of our daughter's dog? Fuck yeah. No. Luke, we're on our way. We're headed out tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys would have to rethink the whole reptile thing.
Can't bring any of them.
Continentally bound. What's there is there.
Yeah, no, not doing that.
That won't work.
So, Luke, what I need you to do is take one of those melanistic ones, put it into a paper towel roll, tape it up, put it inside of another tube. Go ahead and mail it to me as a
container.
Sell it to me as like a
Do they sell Pringles over there? We'll send you some. So you have the container.
He's got a bunch of
Pop-Tarts.
Boxes.
That's right.
Yeah, use those Pop-Tart boxes. Go ahead and put the blue tongue in there.
Like get those like deli cups and they slide right into those Pop-Tart boxes.
So funny. Oh my goodness.
All right. It is. Oh, we're coming up on 2 hours. We didn't talk about your podcast at all. Tell people about your podcast real quick.
So I have a podcast called Hold Back Rack Podcast, and I co-host it with Jessica Hare of Hare Hollow Farms. We have a live every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and we talk a lot about biosecurity and disease testing. We also talk about the industry and like our own personal experience navigating the industry and navigating biosecurity. It's two women talking, so yay for that. Really bummed to we haven't seen anything from the In Blue girls because two women talking. I shout every time I see that. I think it's phenomenal. The hobby needs more women speaking, I think, than the dude bros in the basement. Anyway, and so we have been going about a year now, and it's fun. I mean, you guys know how it is.
Yeah, I enjoy just bullshitting.
It's a good time. I always tell everybody like it's the conversation her and I would be having anyway. You just get to hear it.
I do have to, speaking of women in the hobby, Facebook just told me it's somebody's birthday today. It's Corey Martin's birthday today.
Oh, we were just just talking about her.
I
Happy
know.
birthday.
I don't know how I didn't realize that.
I was
So
about to say, she's one of the
everyone listening, reach out to Corey Martin and tell her happy birthday. Bother her with tons of messages.
Yeah, she is incredible, and happiest birthday to you. That's amazing.
I did not realize. I looked down at my Facebook and it's like Corey Martin's birthday is today. Good to know.
Yeah, so if you're listening, go over to Holdback Rack, subscribe, like, it helps the algorithm. We are hoping to get to 1,000. I think we're at like 300 right now, so it's probably going to be it's going to be a while, but that's my goal. I don't think Jessica cares, but it's a lot of fun. It is not safe for work. Most of the time my boobs are out and there's swearing happening and slippery dicks. And
so your boobs are out on your podcast, but
not on yours.
Not on my podcast.
You guys are teachers and you're like married to each other. I didn't want to get sent to the principal's office.
No, you're fine.
I'm still allowed to look at boobs.
I have a hard, fast rule that he's not allowed to bring home diseases. That's my only hard, fast rule. It's been that
Keep
rule
it clean, man.
It's been that rule for 18 years.
I didn't know, so I figured it was err on the side of safer rather than be disrespectful.
I tease him all the time about our podcast. I'm like, we should have a cleaner podcast, and he's like, fuck no, we should.
That's not gonna fucking happen.
Not gonna fucking happen. No, I can't even get through. Like we always say, like, oh, this is the podcast number we're doing today, and then we talked about our sponsor, and then we're like, oh yeah, it's not safe for work. And by the time we say it's not safe for work, I've swore like 3 times, and I'm like, damn it, we forgot to say it.
I've wanted to get Ed and Emily on here forever, but I don't think they'll ever come on because I think we say fuck too much.
Yeah.
Well, it's so frustrating because I feel like they're really cool and laid back people, but their brand is so child friendly that that they can't present themselves in like their, after dark or,
and even
hair down.
Even if we could assure them that one episode would be very kid friendly, the odds that they would want to listen to other episodes that
absolutely,
Darren said it's not too late to flop a boob out. Just saying, out there.
I know, and Lord,
that is what Darren said.
He said it's not too late to change.
I don't have the right bra on, so you guys are gonna see bra too. Here you go.
There you go, Darren. Just trying to help you out.
Y'all are such a mess.
Wait, hold on, Darren.
I don't have my podcast.
There you go, Darren.
Bra on, so this is all
That's
you're gonna
hilarious.
get. Here, there you go.
It's the best you get, Darren.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I've given up ever hoping for any of those because they told me mine would grow when I had children, and they lied to me.
I had my boob job written into like the prenup because my sisters are all older than me. And my mom, after she was done breastfeeding, like she went from having boobs like this to nothing. So I just assumed that's what would happen to me. And so I was sure I was going to need a boob job. But 3 kids later, and they're
my
huge.
feet got bigger. Like, I'm not even kidding. I went from a women's size 11 to a women's size 12. I will never forget that day of sitting in Academy crying on the bench with the stroller next to me. And this man right here puts the size 12 tennis shoe in front of me and says, put them on your feet or we're just going to buy them and take them home because I know they're going to fit you. I was in such denial.
See this? So we went from talking about penises to boobs. And this is exactly why Ed and Emily will never do our podcast. And
I just meant it would be cool to like see them put their hair down and do like an after dark where they can say things like scrotum.
We did go out to dinner once with them in Tinley with a bunch of other friends, and they were there. And in person, they're really awesome to hang out with. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, I completely respect that because what they're doing for our industry.
Oh no, I love it. Out of everyone online, there's only about 3 people I actually watch reptile videos of, and they're one of the 3. It's like them, Dave, and it was 2.
But the impact that they're having on kids, like literally that I can see in like as a reptile, I sell reptiles. These kids are coming in and you can tell the snake discovery fans because they know their shit. Yes. And they're young, but they're just excited.
You've never watched Ed and Emily try to walk around a reptile show.
I've seen their videos and it's almost to the point where you feel really bad
impossible.
for them.
You do feel bad for them in person.
I've seen them come in.
Video.
I've seen them come in, hoodies on and everything, and walk around once, and then as soon as the hoodie comes off, and you can see,
There's
it's
no-
over.
Every
going
time I
anywhere.
watch their show videos, it always makes me feel so bad. Like they just look hungry and they look exhausted. And like sometimes somebody will like bring them food and like the joy, you could just tell like how starving they are, but they're so kind to everybody. I
like
could
that
not
all the
do
time.
what they're doing, but what they're doing is so important.
Yeah.
And it
They're not-
really is. It's like a trickle effect. Like I'm way over in Seattle and I'm seeing at
Mhm.
every single reptile show that those kids coming in the door are there because of Emily.
I'll say
Oh,
Darren,
and
I
Ed.
agree. Clint is great as well. I do like.
Oh,
we
Clint's
watch-
amazing
I watch
too.
a lot of Clint stuff.
I reference both of them because they both
Yeah.
have a lot of valuable information.
I actually shared both of their YouTube channels and Dave Kaufman's YouTube channel for our zoology club on our Google
Oh,
Classroom. I was like,
good.
these are very kid friendly, approved, like teacher approved YouTube channels.
I
Feel
think,
free
it
to
would be-
watch.
I think Dave would find it hilarious if you said he was kid friendly.
Well,
I would not count him in a total.
I don't know.
His
I think
videos
his
aren't that
videos
bad.
on YouTube, I think, are. I think the interviews that you listen to might be a stretch.
Yeah.
But I feel like the content he puts out on YouTube is.
I mean, it's not like super offensive or super
No.
raunchy or anything.
His
It's not
stuff
like
is.
Right.
it's not
his
like
stuff
his
is
tits
very-
are hanging out
No.
or anything.
Yeah.
That is true.
His are all. His is very different.
That's what he
because
needs to do. If
does
his
the
tits were hanging
videos.
out, he'd have way more views. That's what he's got to do.
He,
Well, obviously not. We only have 300 subscribers, so it's not working.
they just don't know.
Got to hang them out more, I guess.
No,
I guess. I mean, it's not the
goodness.
right bra. I could just be like hanging out in my bra, and then it's just then we've gone too far.
Then it's a completely different hold
Yeah,
back
that's
rack that we're
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. See what you did there.
So as a ball python, before we go, your thoughts on Dave's ball python video, just because it was fun watching the entire world implode when it came out.
You are allowed to say no comment, and we can move on from there if you would like.
No, just go for it. Come on.
I actually watched it with Chris Eaton. And I had waited. I was so excited for it, and I had been watching updates on it. And I, when he got back and he put out that clip, and he was like so sick, and you're like, dude, just take a minute because you look
Yeah.
rough. Like, oh, I was so excited for it, and I was really disappointed. I think that what he had, he could have done so much more with. Just the way that he told the story, I was disappointed. But I mean, hey, my ass wasn't hiking around in Africa. My ass wasn't starving to death, so I absolutely respect what he did. I absolutely respect what it like physically and emotionally cost him.
I didn't have to go over there and pay off guards to be able to cross
Yeah.
borders.
Literally put his life in danger, and so like he absolutely has my respect. Because it's really easy to sit in the comfort of your own home and be like, oh, wait, I could have done that better, like.
I just
So-
look fuckers that have only ever seen ball pythons in Iraq complain about when he's like, yeah, they live in the ground. And they're like, no, they live in trees. I'm like, these guys over there that hunt them are telling you they live in the ground. And they only told you they live in the trees when it floods. And then people are like, they're arboreal. But they're not. The people there are telling you they're not. Their job is to go find them. They can tell you exactly what they are.
Right.
So-
So I need to, now that it's been a minute, I need to go back and watch it again. I am live on a podcast and you need to go. Thank you. So I absolutely has my respect. Absolutely. I should not be allowed to have an opinion because of what he put into it and what it cost him and what efforts went into it. We should all just keep our fucking mouths shut. But you
Well,
did
that's my
ask.
thing, people didn't
So-
have to watch it. Like, I love people that got upset about the free video that they were not forced to watch.
Right.
Like, you
so
don't
I-
have to, like,
Yeah,
But-
you don't have to like it. You don't have to comment. So I didn't really comment on liking it or not liking it because I do understand and respect what was behind it.
the only problem is Dave now has like 75 channels and I don't know which one to watch.
That is true. He does.
He's got a fishing channel, an animals adventure channel,
I didn't know he had a fishing
a reptile channel, and then he has like a weird like ghost alien Bigfoot channel or something.
What?
It's like a creepy places channel. There's another one he's got. It's like I forget what it's called.
I
But
keep
it's like-
trying to get Chris Eaton to come out because he talks about Sasquatch out in Washington. I think that's all something we need to see is Chris Eaton come out to Washington and hunt for the Sasquatch.
Okay, first off, he's not going out in the woods. It's not fucking happening. He's not
I
gonna
would
go-
love to see it. I would pay money to see that.
He's not gonna. He almost died down here because he came down in the summer and we hung out outside.
That was his problem.
And
He came down in June.
That was a problem.
Have you put that hat on? It's really hot.
Yes. And he wore it the whole time.
The whole time.
That's dedication.
It
right
is.
there.
Like, I couldn't do it.
But he's not going anywhere near the woods. It's never going to happen. He'll barely go near a tree. And
Poor Chris.
he'll never eat. Like, you bring him out there and like, hey, you want to eat vegetables for like you pick from a garden? That's not going to happen.
Well, thank you for crushing all my dreams.
I was
I
about to
really
say.
appreciate it.
If that food doesn't come with a barcode or pre-made, he's not touching it. So
That can't be true.
oh, that's 100%
it's
true.
100% true.
Jeez.
He was like, what do you like? Was it blackberries? That's what we were talking about. Because down here they grow along your fence. You go pick
Yeah,
them,
here
and
too.
I was like, the
Yeah.
problem was growing up is they never made it back to the house. Like we would literally eat them as we picked them.
Yeah, 4 for my
And-
mouth, 1 for the
Right.
basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, that's just what you do.
he won't go fishing unless a boat has a bathroom on it. Because he can't understand. Maybe you just go fishing and don't have to shit.
I mean, he is from New York City, so
He
are we
is.
super surprised by that?
But like he lived in Colorado, like out like in Colorado at one point, wasn't it
Well, wasn't
Colorado?
that when he was like a millionaire and he was like, I'm
like-
I'm
He had
like
goats,
rich man,
didn't he?
and
Didn't he have goats?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know. We should stop
I don't
talking about
remember.
him if he's not here to defend himself.
Oh no, that's the best time to talk about him.
Oh,
We'll
well,
get
I get in
messages.
trouble. You can talk shit all you want,
We'll
but
get
I
messages
can't.
later.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, see,
I will
Lori,
get canceled.
Lori Gray said if there's not a shitter nearby, he won't go. That's 100% true.
Mhm.
If he doesn't understand, you can just hang your ass off the edge of the boat,
That's what buckets are for. You put a pool noodle around the edge of the bucket,
or you
and
just
then you got cushion.
just shit in the morning, go fishing, and then shit at night.
Not
Like it's,
everybody is trained to shit at certain times of the day, James.
I
I think
can't-
that's just you.
it's not just me.
That's real healthy though. Good for you.
I know, right?
I'd be serious.
He has to retrain himself every school year when his planning periods change.
It didn't
though.
change this year. I'm good.
Nice.
Same
Well,
thing,
I
good.
now know way more about you than I ever wanted
I
to.
know, right?
So I think we're equal now because at the beginning it was a little rough.
That's his YouTube time.
It's YouTube time. It's great YouTube time.
Apparently, that's when like most men watch YouTube.
Well, no, Robert watches TikTok
Oh, gotcha.
because then we get a bunch of TikTok
Oh
videos.
my gosh.
All right. So if people want to get in, let's get out of here. If people
I was
want to
gonna
get a
say,
hold
I
of
don't
you,
think our child's
how can they get a hold of you?
Mostly on Instagram, ASM Rail Tales. In my bio is a link tree and it has everything. It has the whole back rack. It has the contest. It has, it will have this interview. Just go check it out. It's got all the stuff.
Cool. Katie, if people want to get a hold of us, you know,
You in 143 fucking
you haven't been on
episodes.
143 episodes.
143 episodes.
You haven't been on
I have
100.
wanted someone to ask me that question every fucking episode.
It
And the
hasn't
one
happened.
time you ask me, I'm trying to read what our people have written, and so I look like I'm dancing over here because I can't see around the camera, and I'm not ready. This is unacceptable, and we will have a discussion later.
I offered it to you.
You can reach out to James on Facebook, the Reptile Gumbo podcast, and all the other platforms that I don't actually have or have access to.
It's Instagram, the Reptile Gumbo Podcast, Facebook, the Reptile Gumbo Podcast, and the Reptile Gumbo Podcast at gmail.com. Don't forget that we are finishing up our giveaway from Repticulture. It's a $50 gift certificate to Repticulture. All you got to do is go over to our Facebook page and tell us what you would spend that $50 gift certificate on, and you will be put in the drawing for it. Again, if you don't live here, you can shop online. They ship, so you can get animals, supplies, whatever. They will ship them. Next month, starting next week, I got to reach out to them, but we should be every week in December. We are giving away infrared temp gun. So there's that too. We'll have a post on how to do that as well. Our merchandise, go over to our Facebook page. You can see we got shirts, shoes. What other goofy
I
things?
cannot believe you, man.
What? I simply ask you a question and you freak out.
Yes.
Ah,
Because every week there's at least 4 people on the podcast, and everybody gets asked the question but me.
I just asked
because
you.
I'm
You're
insignificant
upset?
and I do not matter. And now you're gonna ask me
Oh
a
my
question?
gosh, you're sleeping on the couch tonight.
No.
Does that every night.
No, I'm not. If I sleep on the couch because I fell asleep there on purpose.
100%.
Oh. Anyways, I don't know where I was. Thanks for coming on.
Jana, stick around.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
be back next week with somebody. I haven't figured that out yet, but we'll be back next week. Maybe I'm gonna get the Reddies to come on and tell me why we shouldn't buy chameleon eggs. So
Of course you will, because I
Do
won't be here
it.
next week.
you won't be here next week. Sucks for you. All right.
Somebody has to take Joe to that concert for school.
Kids don't need, just throw in a room. So good night, everybody. See y'all next week.
Bye.
Thanks for having
Goodbye.
us.
Wave to everybody as it logs off because they can still see us and hear.